That's
I'm not
okay.
sure why. So I don't want to reboot it right now because it tends to take a little while. So
Uh-huh.
good morning, good morning, good morning.
How are you?
Oh, most excellent, most excellent. Excited and eager, ready to go.
Are
Very.
they putting all these same restrictions on you out there in Arizona for with the coronavirus?
I haven't seen any actually. So no, not really. And the last
No?
time I went out, it was pretty much everything is
Same?
normal. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So
No, they've closed all the state liquor stores and everything. They're going to, I think, uh, in a couple counties, they shut down all restaurants and any event halls that can hold. You're going to have events for any 50 or more people. That
oh
they're
wow,
canceling everything. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I really.
They did shut down the schools, yes, I
Yes,
believe.
yes, yes, yes.
But yeah, I didn't, and not restaurants though. I don't think.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I think it's a good thing. Let
Oh
people
yeah,
stay home.
oh yeah, and it's typically fairly temporary. These things.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
If we all comply for 2 weeks, come on,
exactly,
2 weeks. You
exactly,
know,
exactly.
uh,
Yeah, two weeks, and you can spend that time doing your internal stuff and getting yourself sorted out. So it's all good.
that's right. That's right. That's a
Brilliant.
good.
Brilliant, brilliant. All right. So let's see where Beena's at. She's usually here, but she's not always able to be here. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I'm always keen for her to be here. All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Where is she? She's in Pakistan.
Correct. In Karachi, yeah.
Karachi.
And they have
Wow.
some of it there too. She said they're not quite as pressed by it, which is nice. It's not people aren't stressing and panicking as much, but some.
Good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is good. It is good. It's good.
Where's the rest of your beard? In your
Oh,
coat?
it's tucked in. It's tucked in. Just sometimes, it stays in. Sometimes it comes out. Who knows? Different. It's different. Depends on the day. Depends on the day. Brilliant. All right, Sue. So where are you at?
Okay, so the last thing
one
was
session
we were
3.
we didn't finish module 2, but before we do that last segment on on module 1,
Uh-huh.
session 3, I believe. Yeah,
Right.
session
Right.
3 we have to do.
Right.
You asked me for a task that
Yes.
said what makes me worthy of being loved,
Yes.
and now and in the future.
Yes.
And my answer was my yearning to help others, my kindness, my loyalty, my dedication, my friendliness, my insight, my enthusiasm, my laughter, my smile, my sense of responsibility and accountability, my independence, my heart, my drive, my hard work, my creativity, my openness. And then um, what was I going to say? For the future question was, and I just said the moreness of all that I had just stated as I grow and expand.
Wow, Sue. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm just pouring my coffee. Wow.
That's okay. Go, go, go.
Wow. What a wonderful list. And that's the magic of that list. You didn't have to stretch to make that list. It was just like there. Just needed to get into connection with it and be aware of it, yes?
Repeat that last part. I didn't have to stretch.
All right.
What did you say? I didn't have to stretch.
Yeah, you didn't have to stretch to make that list.
No, it made me stop though, which was funny.
Exactly.
When it's directed towards me, like when I get caught on the spot like that, I kind of like freeze,
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
it takes me a moment. I'm like, okay, I can name things. I mean, I can, but it's that impulsive naming that
Yes.
gets me. Yeah.
In other words, that I was saying, it wasn't a stretch to make that.
All that was
No.
that you needed to be just more aware and more in contact with that side of you.
Yes.
I would add onto that list your sweetness and your innocence.
My sweetness and
Your innocence.
okay, let me put that on here.
You have enthusiasm and excitement on that list, yes?
Enthusiasm, yes. I can add excitement. Mm-hmm.
You have lots of excitement in you. And eagerness. Well, it's part of enthusiasm, but yeah. Like
No,
Beena was, but come on, Sue, all that enthusiasm, that excitement, that openness, it's like, duh. she was quite animated about this. It's very sweet, it's very sweet.
Yeah, no, that
Your
was
sweetness and your innocence, those are big parts. They're a big part of us. And when it comes to lovability, those are a big factor. And everybody has that sweetness and innocence in them. We tend to get a little bit too consumed sometimes in being mature and being adults and being sensible. And we can be innocent and sweet and sophisticated.
yeah.
Right? So your sophistication also goes on that list, of course. But it's a combination. We can be sophisticatedly innocent and innocently sophisticated. It is a great you see it manifest in Beena or in Olivia or hopefully sometimes in me too. But it's a big deal. It's a very big deal to balance those out and to bring those to the fore. We tend to hide our innocence thinking it's naivety, or even naivety is okay, or it's ignorance, or foolishness. No, it's not. It's none of those. To acknowledge and claim our ignorance and our innocence. I don't know everything, and I like to be innocent about some things, I intend to stay innocent about some things.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that one, because I always refer to myself, if I compare myself with my husband lots of times, I am way more naive than he is. I come from this small little town where you just believed everybody for what they said. And my husband is a New Yorker. So he questions everything. He's always on the defensive, very opposite of me. Very opposite.
Maybe, and jaded and all that. Exactly. We don't want to go that way. We don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
So I know that there's stuff out there in the world. I'm aware of it, but I'm not going to emphasize it. I'm not a fool that doesn't know there's crap and nonsense in the world, but I'm not going to be focused and walk around it. I want to treat people as if they are good and nice people. And when we do this with a real sophisticated deliberation, then people automatically respond that way. It's like give a dog a good name and they try and live up to it, right?
Right.
Right. So we practice this. We practice this because it's in that cueing. When you respond to people and you see with that innocence and that goodness, and that's the part that you relate to and connect to. Most people are so surprised at this. I'm not being treated like everybody else with, a little bit of caution, a little bit of suspicion, a little bit of jadedness. They're not looking for my faults and flaws. No, they just see my goodness. They try and live up to that, and they try and share that, and they try and put that in the best foot forward all the time. They want to maintain that perception of them. So this is a great gift that we give others. And of course, it's a gift we give ourselves. Why should I see all of you? Yes, I know it's there, but I'm going to choose to relate only to those aspects of you that are your best side. Why not? Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
It's a gift we can give others, and it's a gift we give ourselves. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice.
Choice.
Yeah.
Choice to see in others what we want.
And what we are ourselves.
And what we are ourselves. Yeah.
I can see all my flaws in everybody, but I can also see all my goodness and my magic. And I could choose what I want to emphasize. So this entire exercise is one of deliberate emphasis.
Yeah.
Because we shifted it. The very first exercise, module 1, session 1, that very first, it's about you emphasizing your own goodness and claiming it and emphasizing that. And we are starting off in the way of impeccability with the premise that you're a good person. And with this conclusion that you're a good person, with this proof that you're a good person. You know, most programs, that's their end point. Okay, you're a good person now. All right, thank you. You know, bye-bye. We start there. It's a very big difference. It's a very, very, very big difference, right? We don't question that you're a good person. This is just simply taken for granted. It's just like, well, duh, right? But how come we do this to ourselves? Yeah. So we're saying we want to now take this understanding that we are good people in all of its variation and celebrate it. Not as an act of ego, but as an act of self-honesty. This is huge. This is huge.
Celebrate our goodness.
As an act of self-honesty.
An act of self-honesty.
Yes.
Over. Celebrate my goodness.
Yes.
As an act of my own honesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny when I write down, when I'm taking notes, it's in third person. And then when I type it back, I switch it all over to I or me.
Wow. Yes. To make it into first person is absolutely essential. And I deliberately say it in, I'm saying to you, well, because it's kind of natural. But I could say it, to phrase it where I put it in first person. But when you make that switch, you own it, you claim it. And this is very, very useful and helpful. So we want to be very deliberate about this claiming. And it's not just our goodness. We want to celebrate all our positive qualities. We want to just revel in them or relish them and enjoy the hell out of ourselves. Why not?
Yeah. And the more we do that, the less of what we don't like can't show up.
Exactly.
Because there's no room. There's only this much space. And if we fill this much space with negative or less than, how does more get in that same space? Something has to leave.
Exactly. We are being supremely sophisticated about emphasis management.
Yeah. Like that. Emphasis management. A lot of my work, when even balancing the chakras, that energy that is either depleted or there's too much of it in there. And it's really about getting out what doesn't belong there so we can then put in what does, and when I simplify it to that, people don't get, weirded out by, energy.
Right.
But, and it makes them make it very, very clear. There is only so much room in our body. And if we're going to choose to put in the junk that's going to make us sick, affect our glands and organs from the emotional context, then we can also choose to remove that, to put that in there. And then people really start to see how much from their conditioning, from their old habits, where they came from, that has stuck inside them, so until we bring that awareness to that spot in the body that I find or feel, it's difficult to do it on your own without a facilitator.
Yes,
it is sometimes.
It is. Oh yes. That's why we want outside. And I actually intend to make a post, and I don't know, maybe you'll help me make it as well. A post that says, what do coaches, CEOs, teachers, facilitators, therapists, anybody in this situation, any management leaders, anybody who's a real thorough professional at what they do, what do they all have in common? They all make an effort to continually learn and grow and improve, right? This is what makes for people being, good at their jobs, being sophisticated, and being thorough about what they are. And it's why you go to them. It's why you seek them out. But you think, well, they have all the answers. No, they don't. They're continually learning. And this is the thing that is a big... So I want to make this as a post, essentially, as a bit of an ad for Way of Impeccability in the group, because there are many, many that are that are those type of people in the group. So I want to say, hey, come join us. This is a powerful thing to take you more. But this is what you were saying. We can celebrate our moreness and connect to that moreness and say, hey, I'm not only going to claim it and own it, but also keep extending it.
Yeah.
Both together.
Yeah, I'll think about that one because I have some thoughts. It's one thing to help facilitate for others, no matter what you do, whether you are a CEO of a company, whether you're a teacher, a therapist, a lawyer, you are facilitating or helping others do there, but not at the expense. As you do that, but it's not at the expense of you not continuing to learn.
Correct.
Learn from them. You know what I mean? From everything that we do.
Yes. And if we facilitate their moreness, that is now how we facilitate our own moreness, because this is what we focused on. So the more we facilitate bringing it out of them, the more we facilitate bringing it out of ourselves.
Right. And every client that comes to the table, I said, oh my God, how do you know? I said, listen, you are teaching me as much as I am teaching you. And I've never lost sight of that from the very, very beginning when I started my work, because some people get on that power struggle with their ego and the almighty, you know what I mean? And think that they are so much better. And I said, I put my clothes on the same way you do every morning. There is no difference, It's just that, I went to a slightly different school right now, but I can learn from you just as much as you learn from me. So it's always keeping those open. It's the people that shut it down, that get that tunnel vision, that the problem begins.
And typically all of that is a defensiveness against fear of the awful truth.
Yeah. There you go. Not wanting to face.
Not willing to face and deal with the awful truth. This is the big stumbling block to all learning. And whenever somebody's saying, oh, I know it, I get it, and all this, and they're reluctant to learn, that's all it is. It's like, that you're ignorant in something. You want to tell me you know everything? No, you don't. So shut up and listen. Okay, we don't like that.
Yeah, basically, shut up and listen.
It's just accept the fact when I say, and also the fear of looking stupid. And when I'm saying something that I think I'm sharing something with you, that's why one of the key things that I make every effort to do, and I share and make a big point, especially with somebody who is in a role of dealing with other people, just undo in the mind that you're telling people stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Never tell anybody anything. Never, ever. It's just like, no, big no. I'm really reluctant on absolutes. I don't care for them. But in this one, it's very powerful. Share. Mm-hmm. Share instead. Say, according to me, from my perspective, as I see it, in my experience, for me, that for me is a very powerful thing. Qualify everything with for me. This opens up the door. And now you're saying, as I see it, and you share. This is it. Now it's a free gift. You can choose to take it whichever way you like. I'm actually forcing you to choose it. Right? In the brain. If I'm just saying, oh, here's what I see is valuable, and especially if I share a bunch of different perspectives, you have to choose what to make your own. And this is the magic that we're after, getting it for you to make it your own. Because if I just tell you and you say, yes, okay, where does this really get you? Nothing. This is how we were taught at school. It goes into the memory banks. It gets stored on the hard drive. It doesn't get into the operating system. It doesn't get into your tools. It's not in your capabilities. It doesn't do anything. It just gets stored. And a lot of people believe they know and understand and can use stuff when it's stored on their hard drives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you've heard something and you memorize it, it means nothing. It means nothing at all, right? And a nice way to illustrate this is say, how many memes have you seen on the internet? Me personally, I've probably seen at least 1 trillion by now. Mm-hmm. Right? And I know everybody, I know people who post meme after meme every day. They post dozens and hundreds of memes. And what has this done for them? Nothing. They're still the same people that I knew 10 years ago. Right? Mm-hmm. Because they don't internalize it. They're just sharing it. And those memes are wonderful. The wisdom memes. There is power there. But because they don't internalize it and make it their own, because they're not posting their own memes, it means it has very little effect. Yes, it has some but very little. So,
Yeah.
so memory and thinking we know as to actually knowing, very big difference. We need to prove it to ourselves that we know stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah, it's funny you use that word share because that's the word I do use. I don't say tell. I say I am a big sharer. That's
Yes,
I
yes,
love. I love to learn and
yes.
share.
Of
That's what I
course.
do. That's what I tell people. I go and I contract that knowledge so that I can get it, so that I can share it with you. Yeah, yeah. I have one client who, young girl, um, who after each session has me make a bullet list of everything we talked about, because she then takes that back so that she doesn't forget anything, and then she makes that her own, you know. Yeah. Now, I've never in 20 years had anybody ever, but she's a school teacher.
Wow.
And what was I going to say? She's probably in her, I don't know, late mid 20s, early, late 20s or something, pretty young, but it's significant, it's cool. I said that I have no problem doing that for you,
It's
but
fantastic. It's huge. On
yeah.
that list of lovableness, right?
Mhm.
Joy, delight, fun.
Mhm.
Where are they? To
Where
add
are they?
to the
Where is
list.
she? She's stuck. She's very stuck. Yeah.
Oh, your list.
Oh, where joy, lovable, fun on
Joy,
my,
delight, and fun.
I think that was it on my
Oh,
list?
all right. I'm just asking. I didn't know.
No, but I am fun.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a delight in you as well, and you can share that more. I'm very earnest, and I enjoy my earnestness. My earnestness is kind of a superpower. It's what brings things out. It's what connects things. But also, I make an effort to try to bring my fun side and my play side out more. My childlike side, not my
Mhm.
childish side, my childlike side. This
Mhm.
is a huge part of lovableness, and something that I actually make a deliberate, conscious effort to try and do a little bit more, just to fool around a bit more, be a bit more playful, joke around a
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah.
And I mention this specifically because I feel you have that same thing. We're very serious, we're very focused, looking to achieve something, get a goal. So, but when you start to play a little bit, that's a different side of us that comes out, and it's a
Yeah.
balance. It just brings balance.
Yeah, my husband has the ability to, if he's with 4-year-olds, he's 4. If he's with an 8-year-old, he's 8. And I have to say, come on, honey, back to adulthood, where
Right.
I like to have fun. I love to laugh, but I have a difficult time being that child,
Yes. That's
which,
why I mention it, because we need to learn to do that.
yeah,
We
yeah,
really do need to learn to do that, and we kind of got to get a bit over ourselves to get to that point.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're a bit scared of it a little bit, and we need to get there. It's a bit of a barrier, and it's a very powerful barrier. When you
Mhm.
embrace that childlikeness of yourself, it's a huge point of that lovableness. The
Mhm.
reason I focused on lovableness is because you expressed a very powerful intent in terms of your connection with your husband, Bill. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So this is all part of being with that part, that reconnection. I'll bet you anything, if you connect to that inner childlikeness and that joy and that innocence and that delight and all of this stuff, this is going to be, from a romantic point of view, going to be a big leverage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Look at Marilyn
It's
Monroe, by the way.
it's
So,
about relaxing. I'm wound so tight sometimes, got to get this done, got to get that, you know what I mean? And I
it's
don't I don't stop. That's my problem.
Yes, exactly. You don't need to be serious and sober and earnest and focused all the time. No, actually, you don't want to be. If you overdo it, then you deplete that battery. You have to recharge it with fun and delight and joy
Yeah.
and childlikeness. It's very important. That balance is critical.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, right? You remember her still, right? If you
Mhm.
look at her and you see the typical portraits, what do you see there? You see an innocence, you see delight, you see joy, right? This is what made her sexy.
Mhm.
She
True.
looked like she
True.
enjoyed the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So naivete.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I'm
Mhm.
saying, from to get real specific in this, that is very, very the sexiness of it is people forget that and understand that because they don't realize that they're seeing somebody who is communicating by implication that they are going to enjoy you, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
this is what makes people attractive and sexy is when we believe that they are going to enjoy us and take
Mhm.
delight in us. So
Mhm.
skewing it in others, and of course they feel accepted, they feel receptive, and this is very attractive to people, right?
Mhm.
When we're all serious and stern, that doesn't make somebody feel like they're being fully accepted. That makes them feels like they're being sort of, okay, I'm under the scrutinizing eye now. This is going to kill any kind of romantic feelings in a hurry.
Yeah.
So it's I mentioned this and I'm going into detail on it because it's a very, very specific point that we don't think, about because it's difficult to think about for ourselves. But from a romantic point of view, when we say, hey, I'm here because I like you and I accept you, and we need to share that and communicate that. And typically we do this through delight and joy.
Mhm.
You know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Through light and joy. Okay.
Yes.
Light
Yeah.
and joy.
Yeah. Oh,
It's enjoy.
right.
True.
And it's
True.
a particular delight and joy in the person that we are romantically connected to, right? Marilyn communicated this to just everybody, which is what made her generally sex appeal. She just shared that the romantic act, and in that age, people were very inhibited still about sex, right? But she just showed that she looked like she just really enjoyed sex, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Not without being slutty, but just that she had that innocence. And she was exceedingly innocent in her own way, but also sophisticated. She married that and the balance to it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, how you word it that way. Yeah, because that's kind of what you see these young girls nowadays, and they're all just very sexual. They
Right.
are very sensual, very sexual, and they don't have any qualms about
Right.
hiding that, feeling that, saying that. Where again, that's one thing. Like, ooh,
Exactly. You grew up where that was
different.
very tight and very repressed,
Yeah.
and the little hangovers from the Victorian era and all of this stuff. So yeah, so we have to say times are different. I can be what I thought was impossible,
Mhm. Mhm.
which
Yeah,
is
it just feels
good.
awkward. Yeah, for
Right.
me, it's awkward. Yeah.
Exactly. Because we were trained that this is a no, an absolute thing. But when we say, whoa, whoa, I can actually be what I believed was impossible for me. And
Mhm.
then we can say, well, you know what? I don't have to be so tight. I don't have to be so restricted with this. I can let go a little bit. I can be, share this side of me because it is there. And then we just activate it. And then it starts to change. It's right
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah, my husband tells me all the time. He says, "I think you're sexy. I think you're beautiful." But that doesn't. I don't feel it. I don't feel it from. I said, "I think that's great," but he said, "I can't help you until you feel that
Correct.
yourself."
Correct.
But he said,
Correct.
"Know that that's what I feel. That's what
Correct.
I see." You
So
know.
now we've taken this love worthiness, and there was a couple of extra ones that needed to be added on there.
Mhm.
Your sexiness and your beautifulness. I
Oh,
know it's awkward for you, but I'm sorry you got to add them because this is a list of honesty. Okay. So you might not feel it, but you can honestly say at least one person does see that. Yes?
all right, I'll put it down. My
No.
sexiness.
And you see how your joy comes out. I see the girl come out. Ah, fantastic. I see what Bill sees now, right in this moment. I see it too. It's fantastic. It's See what I mean? Your joy and your fun. It is such a powerful thing. If you start doing your sessions as exercises of joy and laughter, you're just going to be transformative. If you start to do that, oh man, this is a side of Sue that is just beautiful and magical. And this is
Mhm.
if you want to have that romance, just focus on being joyful. I would actually even recommend doing at some point, not now while we do this because it will be intense, but going and doing stand-up comedy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah. See, no, I can see where that would be.
Not that you're necessarily going to do it as a performer,
Right.
but just to
Opening.
develop the skill, right,
Yeah.
of improv, right? This is, because the stand-up is usually very much, yes, they rehearse and focus the lines, but improv comedy, that's actually the skill rather than stand-up. Improvisational comedy, where you're just being silly and stupid, and you say what come up, and as you get to do it more, you develop that skill. The brain starts to tweak, and we can just instantly get into fun mode. It is a profound thing because you have a huge fun side. When
Yeah.
your laughter comes out, this is a power in
Yeah.
you. It's a power in you that, well, like when you were laughing right now, if you ever watch this video again, you see the transformation. It's like, man, but yeah, I'm seeing power.
Yeah.
Some people, when they laugh and they joy, there's no power to it. It's just no, with you, all your power comes out. It's
Oh,
really,
it's
really,
I
really
make funny noises. I mean, when I really get laughing, I mean, this
brilliant.
thing comes out of
Brilliant.
my throat and it
Brilliant.
sounds like there's a person
Brilliant.
in there. I can't
Brilliant.
stop laughing.
Brilliant. Now, in improv, they're probably going to teach you to maximize that. You know what I mean? To take those funny noises and you work with it and make it even more funny. You know what I mean? To leverage it and celebrate it. This is what improv does. They celebrate their flaws. You celebrate your stumbles. You celebrate your mess ups. Your when you say things poorly. Doesn't matter. You just tweak it and you keep on turning it and you keep leveraging it. So they leverage your craziness, your silliness, your nonsense, and you just make it fun. And everything becomes fun. It's really magic.
Yeah, but here's a funny thing. Not funny, but Donna and the ladies, everybody excluding Deanne. So Karen and Donna.
Right.
When I laugh, and everybody knows my laugh is undeniable when it starts because this honking sound comes out.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
There's a wheezing sound. And we were in Oregon seeing Deanne on stage, and she prompted all the people on stage, said, if you hear some odd noises coming from the audience, that's my friend too.
Brilliant.
So she embraces it, where Donna and Karen are like, oh, Sue.
Self-importance. Yeah.
They kind of squash it down, like, here she goes, like, yeah, there's Sue's laugh. But that's who I am. I can't.
Yes.
Change that,
Yes. Your friends are really, really quite magical, because in them you see parts of you. Now you're celebrating and you're actively making an effort to take the Deanne part and bring it out more. But there are some parts of you that also are the Donna and the Karen, which is a little awkward and uncomfortable about it. Maybe a little bit, but it's there. So you have to, when you look at them, you say, what do they need to do to now get past this barrier of being uncomfortable with me? What do they need to do? And you figuring out what they need to do, you're going to figure out what you need to do.
Yeah. It's being honest and not caring what somebody else really says.
Exactly.
And that was my first, in that group setting with those friends. That's why this has such an impact on me, this program and meeting you. I've never been able to do that in a setting like that with people that, number one, were all my clients, that they saw that side of me. I'm like, I don't really care. I've known you people for so long, I'm a human just like the rest of you, but yeah, no, it's about being able to voice my feelings, period, which Donna can't do and Karen can't do. They well, I shouldn't say they can't. They struggle with it just like I struggle with it,
Because they did in that workshop, they did share, and it did come. But
Donna didn't really share. Karen shared.
Two, correct.
Yeah. Deanne shared. Donna was more
watching from the side.
And then made that comment when we were talking about the screaming. She said, I just need, after I said where that came from and please don't judge me, blah, blah, blah. She said, I just need to let you know that, and that scares me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, thank you for sharing that. I said, but maybe you want to look at why that does scare you and why you are not able to embrace a friend of 20 years and say, are you okay? What's wrong? You know what I mean? Instead of rolling your eyes and, you know.
Right, right. Oh, it was very powerful. It's very powerful. You know, self-awareness is an incredible thing. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. It's very exciting, very exciting. But I'm saying is, you know, when we look at others that we know intimately and we see some of the stuff in them that they need to deal with, typically those are exaggerated sometimes.
Yeah.
Things that we need to, in a very subtle nuance, need to deal with ourselves. And this is a great gift. You know, I just love this because when we deal with it in exaggerated form, it becomes much easier for us to figure out what needs done. Then we just apply it to ourselves in our little nuance, tiny bit, and okay, easy, easy peasy, right?
Yeah, and that's why, you know, I do look at lots of times because I always say what we see in other people is really what exists in us.
Exactly.
You know, you don't notice someone's beauty unless you have your own beauty. You don't notice somebody's an asshole in the street unless you have an asshole in you. You know.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that brings us back to our starting point of emphasis management. When we start to deliberately look for people's goodness, even though they are pushing ourselves, and we can find their goodness, and through all of that, now we start to activate our own goodness. And it's an emphasis thing. So as exactly what you're saying, when you notice it, it's because you need to notice it. But when we shift that and we deliberately change it, we are saying, oh, yes, I'm able to recognize other people's awesomeness and also my own. I know it's there, but I choose to now emphasize my goodness because I can't be focused on this all the time. Through emphasis, I'm going to create a whole world of my flaws and problems. And as an earnest, good person, this is very easy to do it. I see it with people who get stuck in therapy. You know, I deal with them and you know, they come to me and they've been in therapy literally 20 or 30 years. Like, you know, your therapist needs to be smacked multiple times. How are you still there after 20 or 30 years? You know, it's because they get into this world of problems, and through the emphasis, they see more problems, and those problems create more problems, and they just live in a world of problem instead of living in a world of replacement. Like you said before, there's only so much space. When we are focused, you know, 24/7 on our goodness, on the moreness, on the excitement, on the joy, where is the space for the problems? It just isn't there. You know, and we know too, as real potent people, we have the capability to be anything.
Yeah, correct.
I can be an asshole if you want me to. Pay me enough money, and I'll be very happy to demonstrate how much of a dickhead I can be. Right? So we can be it. Just because we have the capability doesn't mean that this is our tendency. Right?
Right. Correct.
We can't say that we all have every single, and we want to have that. This is part of our appropriateness, our fluidity, our flexibility, and our awesomeness, that we can be anything that we need to be. Right? Sometimes you need to be, you know, full of nonsense.
It's all in there. It's honoring when it's okay to be a little sloppier.
Exactly.
And when you need to be more of a perfectionist, and turn those switches off when you don't need them.
Exactly.
You know, but honor anger, honor delight, honor, you know, rebel, honor rule follower, you know, all these polar opposites. Yeah.
In other words, what is the abstract of that? The one key term that puts it all together: appropriateness. Understand and honor your ability, your capacity, your skill to be appropriate.
And honor. Yeah, hold on. And honor your ability to be appropriate.
This is a profound skill. This is a profound moreness. This is this is really what we want to super celebrate and enhance, and we want to increase our ability to be appropriate. Our end goal,
for that time. Appropriate for that time.
Precisely.
Right?
This is what we're saying: appropriateness in the grand context of everything. This is what we mean by appropriateness. It is, we want to have our awareness to be so sophisticated that we can see what is appropriate now in the immediate. right? What is appropriate in the slightly longer term? What is appropriate in the greater overall term? And what is appropriate in our life and universal context? We want to be appropriate in all contexts. Yes. You know, if somebody's being an asshole, we can say, well, it's appropriate to be an asshole back. But in the bigger context, did that really help? No, it didn't. It just aggravated the situation. So we have to say, okay, I have to override the immediate, seeming, apparent appropriateness, and I have to be the bigger person in the longer context. Also, for my life context and for my soul context, I don't want to always have to respond to people. If they're aggressive, I'm aggressive. No, there are other ways, right? It appears to be appropriate, but there's a bigger appropriateness. You know, I can be generous, I can be kind, I can be all sorts of things that I don't have to be a victim at the same token. I don't have to accuse that I'm just taking your nonsense. No, I'm going to step above that. So our appropriateness takes on this whole other dimension. It becomes a massively spiritual mechanism for taking us to a greater level, because we are looking to be appropriate in all contexts. So yeah, this is very, very key. But we want to have that skill and that ability to be appropriate in any circumstance.
Yeah. And how did you label them? You labeled them the now or the immediate, the apparent, and then life.
You can think of it in your physical location. So we want to have the immediate, which is my inside. Then I want to have inside my home, inside my town, inside my state, inside my country, inside the world, inside the universe.
So it gets bigger.
Exactly. But we start with inside, you know.
Right.
So this is a huge deal, you know, when we see that, because so often we're appropriate according only to what we should do, like in a business context, okay, what the company policy is. And we forget our integrity and our ethics. And people do this all the time. When you step out and say, but is this something according to your personal ethics that they are asking you to essentially screw over your customers? And they say, oh, no. So, oh, why are you doing it? Well, but that's what the company wants. Well, time to leave the company.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, don't work where you're compromising your own, you're being inappropriate to your soul, to your spirit. And you're going to just kill yourself doing that. And I see it in people that they do jobs that they are inappropriate to themselves, and it kills them. Right?
Yeah. That's the exact conversation I had with my sister-in-law last night. They were here for dinner. And, you know, she works for this company she's tethered to a phone. She works with timeshares, and she's tethered to a phone. And if she goes and leaves and goes to the bathroom, her boss is like, well, where were you? Where really? You know, and then with all this craziness going on, they want them to work all these extra hours for $1. That's it. That's all. Not even their full pay, just an extra dollar. And I said, it is so time for you to leave that. I said, why would you put up with that? I said, it just says to me that you don't think enough of yourself to stand up for yourself and tell that woman, no, I'm going to the bathroom. And guess what? I get a 15-minute break, and I can take a lunch, and I can this. And, you know, if you want to get funny, what we can call the state of employment state, you know, for work ethics, and you'll be in trouble, you know. But she's afraid to go there. Ooh, you know, she might ruffle some feathers.
Wow.
But you know, that's her issue, you know. But yes, it was a very applicable conversation to what we're talking about this morning.
Is incredibly magical.
Yeah.
And when we mean appropriateness, right, in this big context, because it's a real term for the Dictionary of Power. I mean, it's probably the apex term right there. It's a huge term. We don't mean proper, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's they're pushing something of what they believe is appropriate, and usually proper is very situational and contextual. So we aren't, and so now we also have to understand that appropriateness is very dependent on our motivations as well as context. Two different things, right? If my motivation is to be a hooligan, that's my goal, right? Then it would be appropriate for me to go and do, you know, a laugh at a funeral, for instance. Yeah. I'm being disruptive, but now I'm being appropriate to my goal. I'm not appropriate as to the funeral behavior, maybe, but what I'm trying to achieve, I'm totally being appropriate, right? So it's very much depends on your goals and your motivations. So this is very important to understand. Now, okay, we don't all set the goal and the intent to go and be a hooligan at a funeral and to be disruptive, right? but we might see sometimes our goals might clash with goals around us, and we have to be aware of this so that we can adapt appropriate and say, okay, I have to maybe set my things aside. Sometimes my goal might be to be fun loving and joyful. When I go to a funeral, I have to say, oh, you know what, this is a goal that now I have to kind of set aside temporarily and set my goal to be appropriate, set my goal to be fit in, and be considerate and caring. So when we start to do this motivation management, huge shift in our ability to be appropriate.
Yeah.
Right? What are you trying to do? Clarity of intent. This gives us that focus of purpose.
Mm-hmm. Intent.
Yeah.
Focus of purpose. Clarity of intent. Focus of purpose.
And that question to ask ourselves, what am I trying to do right now?
Mm-hmm.
And when we start to connect that now to the moreness of us in this moment, yes, you are right now, we are looking to learn and grow, but also in this moment, aren't you also trying to be joyful?
Mm-hmm.
Looking to be sincere,
Mm-hmm.
looking to absorb, to learn, to grow, to make your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing a whole bunch of things in the moment. This is what we need to get away from, is to think that what we are doing is just one thing, or trying to, because always at school they said you focus, concentrate, and this is by implication, do one thing at a time. No, we are doing multiple things always. Yes, the actions might be one thing, but always we are doing multiple things. We are being good, we are being earnest, we are being sincere, we are being ethical, we are being diligent, we are being thorough, we are being scrupulous. We are doing multiple things.
To connect. Yeah.
Talking about sincere and earnest, I have a very, very sincere and earnest, profound question for you.
Uh-huh.
Falling off that list. Do you, Sue, do you need to justify yourself? Need.
Not always. No.
Ever need to do it?
I think there's times in the past where I felt that, and I think that now I'm at a different place where I feel like I don't need to tell people why. Even my husband said to me last night, he goes, what do you, I was sitting on the bed finishing up, and and he looked over and he was like kind of reading. He goes, what are you doing this for? I looked at him, I said, one word, me.
Oh, I love that. Oh,
Shut up. I mean, not that he was questioning,
Yeah, he was genuinely curious. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a sincere, earnest question that got him a really profound answer.
Yeah. Hercules, it's okay. Who's here?
I love that his name is Hercules.
Yeah.
he thinks he's Hercules, right? He's
right.
One of, yeah.
Come here. I want you to meet Syl.
Oh, brilliant.
Wait, speaking of the devil, here's my husband. Wait, you
can brilliant. Hello, Devil Bill, and hello, Hercules.
Here, I want you to go on here. This is my husband, Bill.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Oh, very nice to meet you. We were just talking about you. So you're the Devil Bill. Nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you.
I said to him what I was writing, and he said, what are you doing this for? And I said, I turned around and said one word. I said, me.
And I said, okay.
Fantastic. And I was just commenting that you'd asked an earnest question, and an earnest question has real power. Always earnest questions have power, and Sue answered earnestly and has power. Oh, there's Hercules. Brilliant.
Hercules.
Why does he look a lot like Bill?
Scary.
He looks nothing like
scary. Because I gave him a haircut. That's why.
Oh, interesting.
I made him look like me. Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Oh, magic. Oh, I'm really pleased to meet you, Bill. Really, very pleased. This is magic. And I was saying to Sue, you're welcome to join us anytime. It's up to Sue, of course, but from my point, no problem. You're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Well, I got to go to work. I just came home to
brilliant.
handle stuff.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Take my package.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Already done.
Okay, cool.
I'm really, really pleased to meet Bill. That was huge.
That was perfect timing.
That was
Perfect
huge.
timing.
That was huge.
Yeah.
So one more thing that needs to be added to your list of love worthiness, your
Yeah. What? My
your
what?
naughtiness. you see. Yes, because I see it in Bill and I see what he likes in you. I saw it there. You know, when I see people, I see a lot.
Yeah.
I'll share a poem with you. I really do. I really, really see a lot. And I saw this key essential quality of Bill's naughtiness.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
has that playfulness and naughtiness, and there's an irreverent side to him. And so part of this irreverence as well, added to that list.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Right. Add it to the list. Add it to the list.
I put it in.
Irreverence, I was saying.
Oh, irreverence.
Irreverence. Yes. You know, because irreverence is we take the Mickey out of things, and you know we don't always look at things so seriously. And you know this. Yes, Bill is a serious person. You know, I'm assuming he's a professional in whatever he does, but he also has an irreverent side to him. He doesn't let go of that. It's apparent in him. You know, I can see it as this is something that is always there. You know, yes, he might get very serious in what he's doing and very professional, but the irreverent side, it's one step away. It's always on the surface waiting. He's
You hit him
side.
like the nail on the head there. Yeah, that is. He can flip that switch like there's nothing.
Yes. So this is, you know, we typically in relationships because we really, really need to learn something from the other person, and something that you have. Sometimes but he seems to have absorbed the positive from you very much too. You know, so this is now.
Often said, you know,
that I need to be more like Bill. You know.
Yeah.
It's very.
We teach each other, and I think we both know that. You know, the differences in us, I think, is healthy. You know.
Right. Now, here's something that I do see in Bill, that he came at exactly the right time. Yeah. I don't see him have any need or any residual justification of self. None of that.
Zero.
Right.
Zero.
But I do sometimes hear a little bit of that legacy coming from Sue, that it pops out in an inadvertent way. Right. There is when I said about motivations, we sometimes act on multiple motivations, and not sometimes, pretty much always we have multiple motivations. And as a little tiny motivation, I see that motivation to justify sometimes in Sue. And you don't need to. There's absolutely not one absolute reason to do so.
That's what I'm trying to. I don't need to justify. If I've thought about it and it's right for me and I'm not hurting anyone, then why can't I do it? Yeah.
But here's the point, though. Typically, we make efforts to justify ourselves in order to establish credibility that we don't feel.
Right.
Are you credible?
Yes.
There you go. End of story.
Yeah.
That's it. What you do, you feel, and in the work that you do, the energy work. Yes, people do. Some people think it's nonsense and woo and that. Makes no difference. Does it have an effect? Does it have a result that's beneficial?
Yes.
Does it matter what it is based on? If you're getting a real effect, right? For instance, if we take that improv or play acting, if we make up a play acting scenario and we get the real result, does it matter that we used an untrue situation to get the real result? No, it makes no difference. So whether or not somebody thinks that the energy stuff is real or not, the result is real. So you don't have to justify it. You don't have to be credible. You yourself, same thing. I might be a big phony if I'm getting you real results. Well, okay, that's what counts, right? So it makes no difference. We don't have to justify ourselves. Yeah. I mean, we do.
And that is a shift that has been definitely occurring because I lived in that always needing that justification or validation. But it's, you know, and I think some of that really does come from Bill. You know, he is. There is no justifying what he chooses or does, or this is it.
And also, and by implication, sometimes people can put us on a pressure a little bit. Bill exudes a great calmness of competence. He's a very competent fellow, right?
Very extremely
Just in
competent.
everything competent. So when we live with somebody who's so competent, it might make us feel a bit incompetent by comparison. And that incompetence now forces us or gets us to feel like we need to justify ourselves and prove and say, I have. Okay, Bill, you're fantastic, competent, and I'm an nincompoop who's learning. Okay, But when we do that and we relax and say, I don't have all the skills that I would like to have. I don't have it, and I'm learning and I'm growing, but I don't have it yet. Okay, I'm at peace with that. Then we stop feeling like we need to justify ourselves. No need. You don't have to keep up with Bill. This is the great myth of many relationships. It is the myth of equivalency. It is what corrupts relationships all the time. That somebody feels they need to be equivalent. They need to be. No, that's not true. Bill isn't loving you because he thinks that you're similar to him. No. No.
Most of his love is because I'm very different from him.
Precisely. So he doesn't care two hoots that you don't have the same competency as him. As a matter of fact, the fact that you don't have it would probably be part of the thing, because men like to feel useful and needed and to be the hero, because really they know the awful truth that they're superfluous and they're not really needed in the world. It's the truth. You go to any farmer and you say, hey, I've got to take half of your stock. Sorry, government regulations, coronavirus, we have to, take half of your and cull them out. They're going to give you all the males and just keep one or two, right? So most men know that they're not really needed in the grand scheme of the world. They're superfluous. Women don't know that. They know, hey, I'm useful, right?
Yeah. It was funny talking about that. When we first met, probably we knew we had some kind of, strong connection there. So we were dating, and I turned around. I remember I was standing in the kitchen, and he wasn't planning on dating. He was going through finalizing a divorce and so forth. And I just, I had bought my house 5 years earlier, and and so forth. So I remember turning around and saying to him, I said, I want to make this perfectly clear to you. I've, had this house and I've survived on my own. I said, I don't need you. I want you.
Wow.
I don't need you. That was the first month of our relationship. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
My guess would be, if I were to speculate, he said, yeah, you might say that, but I'll bet you anything inside his head there was that phrase with him there. So I hear you, and yes, technically it's true. However, ask him what he thought then. I'll be very interested. One thing I want to just share is super. I am absolutely thrilled and joyful and just overjoyed, and I can't say how happy I am that you have Bill in your life.
Yeah.
I think this is just, I'm an incurable romantic, I guess. So, the fact that you and Bill are together, this is something really magical and special.
Yeah, no, it's 24 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So that when we met, I didn't get married to him till I was 40 the year we got married.
Wow. And it's just, I just love it.
He's a little bit younger, 4 years.
I figured, but who cares? Who cares? You're both young at heart, and
yeah. That's the key.
This is the other part. We try so hard to be mature and to grow up, and we don't realize that growing up is learning to celebrate being young. This is owning our youth. This is growing up. It's owning it, and understanding how to appropriately be youthful. This is growing up, really, right?
Yeah, no, Bill can do that. I have to learn how to do that better.
Exactly. I'm really pleased that you're in a relationship with Bill.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, me too, honey.
More than welcome to connect to this,
Okay.
Because what we do so much is about sophistication and insight and detail and going more and getting into our spiritual. The Way of Impeccability is a spiritual program. Yes, it's very practical. It's very application. But at root, it's a spiritual program, because spirituality, as far as a Way of Impeccability is concerned, is intense practicality. Your spirituality isn't practical, and it means bugger all. Right? Because look, it's all about energy. Energy is spirituality. That's what spirit is. It's energy. right? So we
Mhm.
are looking to maximize our energy, not just in the usual energy. I wake up, I've got some energy to do physical things. We want to learn to be able to bring forward our energy of joy, our energy of moreness, our energy of compassion, our energy of sincerity, all of this, our energy of personal power to make things happen in the world, and, you know, to be able to have an effect on ourselves. All of this, it's all energy, which is all spiritual. So it's
Yeah.
our practicality is very spiritual. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm just saying
We
this
go
might
to
be
the
a part
module
that,
one, the third session.
oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
How it
So I
all
wanted to
makes
just
sense.
finish on that point about the self-justification, right? To bring that fully into awareness that this may be a legacy residual program that still pops out every now and to consciously and deliberately put this on your list of things that you want to do, to say, nope, I do not need to do it, and I don't want to do it either. Because the moment I justify or try to, I feel I'm by implication saying I'm less than, I'm deficient, and I don't need to do that. Just
Yeah.
because I don't have the same skills as somebody else, that means nothing. Like you said with Bill, just because you don't have the same competency as him or feel that you don't have, you don't need to. You don't have to have the same level of competency in all of the things that he does. It's not necessary, and it's not going to make any difference to him loving you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna add that to my list. List of intents. Stop justifying.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Which means self-acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's it.
Exactly.
We accept ourselves as being incomplete. We are enough, but we're also more.
Mm-hmm.
We find that balance. We don't say, I'm incomplete. No, I'm enough. I'm enough as I am, but I am also more. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't just say I'm enough and I'm stopping. No, 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 because that would just, be okay. But I know I'm enough, and I know there's more that I need to learn and want to learn. I want to learn that more. But just because I have more to learn doesn't make me insufficient.
Right.
Right? We not go. We in other words, we're shifting our base paradigm from a bad, neutral, goods frame of reference to a good, better, best frame of reference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good, but I can be better. That's it, right? So we're going into this is the world of way of impeccability. We live in a good, better, best system. Everybody we see is good. Yes, you can be better, but you're good, and good is enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge shift because most of the world you're in this bad, neutral, good system. It's
Mm-hmm.
a crap
Yeah.
system.
We
Sorry,
need
right?
good, better, best sounds better. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Feels
Oh,
better.
when you get a new client, you start off. That's why the program starts off where you prove to yourself that you're good, right? I already see that you're good, but you prove to yourself that you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, neutral, bad. Neutral.
To hell with good, neutral, bad. That's a poor system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not effective of emphasis management, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in this good, better, best, we're shifting to the emphasis, and we're also unhooking from, very important before we move on to this next point here. We want to unhook from the comparative mindset.
Okay.
Right, the comparative mindset belongs to chickens. Right? They're always looking and they go, where are you at? And they're looking for us. Now, in chicken land, there's no equivalency. It's either better or worse, right?
Yeah. They're always worried about protecting themselves.
And
That's
it's
all.
that pecking order. It's that pecking order. All the time, the pecking order, right? So they're so fearful because everything eats chickens. They're so fearful that they're always looking to be dominant, and this is in their psychology. So they never get to enjoy anything because who has fun in chicken land? Nobody. Really? Seriously, have you ever owned chickens?
No, 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 no.
If you have, it's incredible. I mean, they don't have fun, really.
Yeah. You
Amazing.
have chickens? You have
I
chickens?
have had in the past, not now, but I have had in the past. And I learn a tremendous amount. When Erica comes on tomorrow, Wednesday, Wednesday you'll overlap with Erica. I'll ask her to tell you about her chickens. She now has chickens, and she loves her chickens. She learns a tremendous amount.
Yeah, no, she talked about that. I think that's in the one that you sent to me about the chicken.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. And about her husband tries to go after them and they run. Just has her intent. This is what I want to do. And they come to her.
Right. because she's this is a very sophisticated point that she was bringing up, the communication and the cueing of intent. And her husband doesn't get it. He's cueing, I'm going to catch you. And then, of course, they just hear this and run away. Where she's cueing, I'm going to protect you. And then they allow her to pick him up. It's a very, very powerful point. So, yeah, chickens are really educational. They're just something. But when we understand that mindset, we want to get out of that. You know, continually comparing, continually saying, am I better or worse? To hell with that. I don't care whether I'm better or worse. I'm outside of that system, you know. So this is elephant. I call it elephant logic. You know, everybody says, oh, you know, king of the jungle is the lion, and they're all trying to be a lion. You see the memes on that. Very seldom do you see, oh, they want to be a lion or a wolf or an eagle. Those are all predators. I don't want to be a predator necessarily. But, okay, so you go and, you know, I have a little parable. Okay, so, you know, I don't know, you can just take any animal you like, whatever your animal is, that, you know, sparrow or snail or whatever. Okay, they go hang out with lion. So I want to be king of the lion. And they're busy hanging out with lion, and okay, lion is all majestic and he's all powerful, and wow, this is fantastic. But all of a sudden, lion gets up and just scurries out of the way. So what the hell's going on, lion? I thought you're king of the jungle. What's going on here? Oh, here comes elephant. Oh, elephant's just walking. It's not doing anything. It's just walking. Suddenly, lion is scrambling to get out of the way. Elephant didn't get two hoots about lion being king of the jungle. It's just walking, and lion got out of the way. So, in the hierarchy world, be an elephant, in other words. Be completely outside of that system. And you don't have to compare better or worse. Lion is involved in this, but he isn't actually king of the jungle. Look at elephant. Comes walking and lion gets out the way. So an elephant couldn't care two hoots about who's king of the jungle or not. Elephant is just being elephant. Right? So very powerful sort of a little understanding that, you know, we don't have to fit into a hierarchy. We can be outside of that system, and then none of that nonsense bothers us. We don't care about it. You know, we just do our own thing. So
yeah. Cool. In jungle hierarchy. Very cool. That one's cool.
Yeah.
Module 1, session 3, how it all makes sense. So I wrote, well, hallelujah. I just became aware of how this program really works. I just really settled into it, and it was just starting to see to experience the moreness and the fullness of it all. Happiness has entered into bringing even more excitement.
Wow. Give me a moment.
Yeah,
what you said is so huge, Sue. Huge. You know, for me, I see that, you know, when you drop that little drop of dye into a vat, and it has that cascading effect, and it changes the whole thing. One little drop changes everything right there. That was that cascading drop of significance that changes everything.
Yeah. It just all of a sudden became crystal clear. I mean, the you know, in the beginning it was really, you know, explaining what the program is about, which I thought, you know, okay, but it all of a sudden then made sense, because this program, this module started to get into the little bit extra there about self.
Yes. Oh, yes. And it's a promise of more to come. This module 3 gets repeated later on in a different
okay. In a different format.
Sorry, session 3 in a different angle, a different perspective, but yes, it gets repeated. It's very important. Yeah.
So when asked in the beginning of this online session what my biggest motivation was in life, honestly, my answer was twofold. I am motivated by others, and I motivate myself through tasks. Well. Thanks, Sil, for allowing me the opportunity to see that the motivation should really be from awareness, and would now surely like to be a new primary habit for myself. I understand that if I develop and enhance my awareness, it will surely motivate my life and give it more purpose and meaning. This session really spoke to me when I came to the awareness that any unhappiness, abuse, or anything bad that I have ever experienced was because I lacked the awareness each and every time they occurred.
Oh, sorry, pause just 1 second there. Yes, Sue. Yes. Can you just read that last one again, please?
This session really spoke to me when I came to the awareness that any unhappiness, abuse, or anything bad that I have experienced was because I lacked the awareness each and every episode.
Yes. When
Being,
you,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when you meet Donna, this is a big point for her also, and sure, and you know, it's a huge point that comes up with others, and it's nice to hear their stories of that point.
Yeah.
Very
Mhm.
powerful.
Being conditioned to not express my real feelings or not allowing myself to be in the present moment surely has turned off my awareness switch
Yes.
at many different times in my life.
Wow. That's a very sophisticated, layered perception. That's
Mhm.
really huge. Will you put a little star next to that point for me? Because I actually want to add that point to the program.
Okay, let me
Just a little asterisk or something,
I'm gonna
come back later, just to that you can send it to me,
yeah.
email it or something. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna copy. I'm going to send it right now to you through Messenger, just so you have that.
Oh, there you go. Do it now. Later never comes.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I do things immediately.
Yeah. I love it. Me too. I love it. I just don't want to break your flow, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get the message. But, for me, I keep my center column, as I call it, and I can go horizontal on that anytime and come back to it. So, I have that skill, but sometimes people get lost in the detours, but I can go horizontal, come back and keep going. It's no problem.
Ah. And did you want the part about lacking the awareness or just being conditioned not to express my feelings? Or did you want?
Right. No. That it resulted in lack of awareness. That's the key point. It's the
Yeah.
connection between the two. Oh,
Okay,
yes, it does need that second part. Yeah. That's a sophisticated point that you're saying, oh, here was something that I didn't realize had a consequence, and it had a profound consequence. That awareness of the consequence is a huge deal.
Yeah.
There's no way I can unpack this and go, we'll have a whole session just on unpacking this. It's a big point.
Yeah, I'm going to give you this whole paragraph because I know what I say next. You're going to say, send me that too. So let me just.
Okay, that's fine. Send it all in.
Hold on.
I love it. Oh, I just love it. Really powerful.
Copy. Okay. So ignore, oops, use this one. Okay. So, all right, let me finish that paragraph there. Okay. So being conditioned not to express my feeling um, uh, or not allow myself to be in the present surely has turned off my awareness switch at many different times in my life. With that being said, unawareness is now my enemy. So I need to feel that enemy when it shows up. I need to become knowledgeable about it, be honest with myself so that this major enemy becomes powerless of me.
Yes. Oh, wow.
I
Oh.
yeah.
I need pauses after these points because they are so huge. I mean, what you are saying is just incredible. I mean, this is huge stuff. They can't come so quickly. It's you know what I mean? They're so huge.
Yeah. And
Wow.
then I finished off with saying, I deserve to be happy or whatever else I choose. I just need to become aware of what makes me happy, etc., so that I can feel it, do it, and live it. So
Yes.
that's the whole thing I just sent you. Yeah.
Joy is our purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, makes sense.
Yeah. If we don't, we can be as aware and sophisticated and knowledgeable and competent as we like. If we don't feel joy, then what the hell's the point?
Yeah.
There's no point to it.
That's right.
None.
That's right. Yeah. And that's, I think, what I miss a lot, because I get caught up and I don't let that come through. Again, like you said, different than Bill. He'll like, you know, he pops right there. Yeah.
Sue, could I ask you to read your list again, please? That was just huge. I mean, this what you said. It was
That's
so,
just what I just said there. Yeah.
the whole thing. No, the whole list.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah, that you started to read.
Oh, okay.
Not
From the
the
beginning.
last point. No, all of it. The entire list.
Yeah.
On
You mean from the beginning when I said hallelujah, I just became how this program
right
works?
from the very start. Exactly. Just start the whole takeaway, repeat back all over again. Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Said, well, hallelujah. I just became aware of how this program works. I just really settled into it and was really starting to get this experience the moreness and the fullness of it all. Happiness has entered in, bringing me even more excitement. When asked in the beginning of the online session what my biggest motivation in life was, honestly, my answer was twofold. I am motivated by others, and I motivate myself through tasks. Well, well, well. Thanks, Phil, for allowing me the opportunity to see that motivation should really be from awareness, and would now surely like this to be my new primary habit. I understand that if I develop and enhance my awareness, it will surely motivate my life and give it more purpose and meaning. This session really spoke to me when I came to the awareness that any unhappiness, abuse, or anything bad that I have experienced was just because I lacked the awareness each and every time. Being conditioned not to express my feelings or not to allow myself to be in the present moment surely has turned off my awareness switch.
Yes, yes. What a huge point.
Yeah, at many times in my life. With that being said, unawareness is now my enemy. So I need to feel that enemy when it shows up. I need to become knowledgeable about it, be honest with myself, so that this major enemy becomes powerless of me.
Yes.
I deserve to be happy, or whatever else I choose. I just need to become aware of what makes me happy, etc., so I can feel it,
Yes.
do it, and live it.
Yes, yes. And have the energy to experience it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's what we're all about. Impeccability is energy management. If we don't have the energy, we can't feel it. It's as simple as that, right?
Yeah. Let me add that there.
Yeah.
And the energy to do it.
Yes. Or experience it or feel it rather than do it, right?
That's right. To experience it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that we shift out of doing mode into being mode.
Because that's who I am. I'm a doer. I am. And again, when I was, in the session to say, what motivates you? And I'm like, I am self-motivated, but it's about finishing a task.
Correct.
Which has its pluses, but it certainly has its minuses too.
Yes.
But I realized how much it's because of other people. And I'm like, whoa, where have I been all my life? But it's made me who I am. So I can't, but I'm choosing now to shift that. So I'm not angry. I was in a horrible relationship, very abusive relationship for 21 years before I even met my husband.
Why?
And, my husband is angered by this man. I could barely say his, 3 letters of his name because he doesn't like what he's done to me, how it's affected me. But I said, I don't regret it. as weird as that sounds, because I don't want to be a victim of it. That's where I was supposed to be.
Yes.
Until I got out of my own goddamn way, nothing was going to change.
Oh, Sue, what you just said is so huge, so huge. That acceptance of personal responsibility for your part in being with somebody who's a ridiculous thing. This is unbelievably huge.
Yeah.
It is unbelievabably huge.
Yeah. And again, there, people think, what are you, stupid? What, you should hate his, I don't hate him. I thank him in a very odd way.
Yes.
For what he showed me, because had it not been for him, I would have never been able to experience the polar opposite of what a relationship was really supposed to be about.
Exactly.
Enter Bill. You know what I mean?
Exactly. This is impeccability in action. Right there, to appreciate things for what they truly are, to see the fullness in the moreness of it, and to understand the underlying energy of it. That previous relationship was necessary to put you where you're at now. You had to grow, you had to learn. You weren't in a position to be with Bill. If Bill had come along, it would have been a wait.
Never.
And if we had, it would have been a short-term relationship, and it would have been a lost, and then you would have been anchoring ever after. So I knew I had him, and he went away. I wasn't ready yet, right? Yeah. So this is a worse thing than the path that you chose that happened to be your path. So this is very, very powerful. Wow.
Yeah. And again, I see now, hindsight's always 20/20, but
yes.
But in that, how stuck I was, how fearful I was of, he just exacerbated the point of me not expressing myself, not being myself, and only what he wanted me to be, how he wanted me to act, and there was so much in me creatively and so forth that I never let it out. Wow. So now that I'm older, that's where my jewelry designing, my home interior, I do fashion styling on
all
people.
Stuff.
Yeah. It just exploded because I allowed it to explode instead of containing all that good stuff. Yeah.
This motivation of your awareness in a peculiar way, your awareness has caused you problems in your life. I'll explain why. Because you see more, but you wouldn't always have the tools and the abilities and the skills of how to deal with the moreness that you see in the world. Right? And this is part of what we are going to be doing in the way of impeccability, is for you to be fully in connection and aware of your moreness, and also to have had the opportunity to express and let out your moreness in appropriate ways, and to not have to apologize for your moreness, to not feel like, oh, I'm seeing more, and now suddenly I'm making people feel small or little. No, that's old thinking. That's that good, bad, neutral system. No, I'm going to celebrate my moreness and share it. It doesn't matter whether people, how they feel. They're not necessarily, if I do it appropriately, they aren't going to feel diminished by it. That's comparative mindset. That's hierarchy logic, right? So this has inhibited you somewhat in the past, I would imagine.
That's why Sedona this past year was a huge breakthrough for me. Coming in to your workshop was, I was exploding inside, and my normal reaction is to retreat, not say anything, throw everything under the carpet, and try to work it out. But no, I couldn't. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't the first time, and women, I don't have my period, but people can say, oh, what are you, PMS? And that's what came up. No, it was supposed to be there, because that's the beauty of Sedona. It brings out energetically all that it's supposed to, the good and the bad. And I really prefaced with explaining to those ladies that this is why we are here, not to look at this as a negative, but if hopefully you can take away this as a positive interaction that we had, because what happened there was there because the energy allowed it to happen.
Yes. And the thing is, I'm making this point of that you always had more awareness, but you weren't able to connect to it appropriately.
Yeah, appropriately. I could not express it to whom it needed to be expressed to.
Yes, and integrate it, express it, handle it, deal with it. So what our task is in the way of impeccability, it is precisely about appropriate ownership and expression of our awareness.
There's that connection. There's that connection for me that I got, and that's why this session was like, oh my God, here it is, finally me seeing that huge picture and it all coming together. And that there is a bigger purpose here.
Yes.
The mailman is here.
No problem.
He doesn't like the mail. Hercules, where do we get presents? It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Well.
No problem. Hello, Beena. Hello. Oh, I'm so. I hope you saw me saying yes. I'm glad you're here. So. Yeah, and that's why I.
Oh yes. Hello. Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Sue.
Hi, Beena. How are you?
I'm good, and my camera is still not working. I'm really sorry for that.
Okay, you're off the hook one more day.
Yeah, one more day.
That's why I mentioned that.
Brilliant. Yes, Beena joined a little earlier. That's why I asked to repeat, because I wanted to hear it for myself, but also for Beena. You know, she came just after that. So we love it. It was so magical. But this point of awareness and as a motivation.
It's a treat. It's a treat.
Oh yeah. It's a treat. And you must Sue's magical list answer to the question of what makes Sue love worthy of love. What a magical list. It's just beautiful.
Oh, I was waiting. I was so looking forward for that. I was
You're gonna have to share your list again real quick, please, Sue.
Okay. I mean, hold on. I heard your mic didn't work and you're going, you know what it is. You were trying to tell me what what makes me worthy of being loved? My yearningness to help others, my kindness, my dedication, my loyalty, my friendliness, my insight, my enthusiasm, my laughter, my smile, my sense of responsibility and accountability, my independence, my heart, my drive, my hard work, my creativity, my openness, my sweetness, my innocence, my excitement, my eagerness, my sophistication, my fun, my delight, my sexiness, my beauty, my naughtiness, and my irreverence.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. All true. For me, what makes you love worthy is Sue.
Oh.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
This
Oh, it makes me emotional too.
Oh, thank you, Beena.
yes.
Yeah,
I just love your energy.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I am my own person. You know what I mean? And in many levels, you know.
Yes. You're an anomaly.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to be duplicated because.
No, you're an anomaly. And you need to be an anomaly. Yes.
Yeah. And it's I own a lot of these things that are mine. I really can say that I do own them. They're me. That's what makes me. And I've learned from that experience that I don't need to be what someone else wants me to be. And it was through that journey that has left me to say, hey, this is who I am. You don't like it? It's the highway, because I don't have to please you. I don't.
I would at this point.
In my DNA.
Yes. At this point, I would also add on to that list and my childlike awareness.
Yes.
It's very important. Not just your awareness, but your childlike awareness. Because you do have this magical, because childlike awareness to me is awareness that's open. Childlike awareness is very sophisticated. It gets suppressed. But when we have that pure open awareness, it is incredible. It's very penetrating. So your childlike awareness is, that is what when Beena said Sue, that's Sue to me. I don't know. I feel
It is,
Yeah,
it is really the most organic, pure, genuine smile. I saw that. And the way you express your appreciation, the way you compliment, the way you actually find and digging out value from way of impactfulity is more than amazing for me. You always surprise me. Every single sentence you share
Oh,
is a treat for me. Yes.
yeah,
thank
same here. But that childlike awareness, because in the
Yes.
context of lovability, this is a huge point. So when you start to enjoy your childlike awareness, this is when we really get into the fullness of our being.
you.
Yeah, because that's what we are. We're perpetual children. We're children of the universe. That's it. We're perpetual children. Really.
Yeah, and that's what I have to really pay attention to, because again, you met Bill and he can go there any minute of any
Yes.
day.
Yes.
And we were taught, you just grow up. Enough of this childlike stuff. You work hard, you do this, you do that. Forget about being a kid. It's
Yeah.
over. So there
when
really
you
was
next see
no
Bill,
childhood even.
yeah, right. When you next see Bill, dance a little child dance jig with him. Just grab him by his arms and just have a little fun dance with him. Yes,
Yeah,
would you please?
we do. He makes
Oh,
me
good.
laugh.
Okay, good. But you need to start that little dance.
I need to be the initiator of it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Look at that smile. That smile just wants to swallow you. It's just fantastic. I just love it. What a magic.
Love.
Yes.
Too funny.
And
Yeah.
your child side is so potent. It is
Mhm.
fantastic, and that's why I asked that question, because when it comes out, we see what Bill sees.
Yeah.
But it gets subsumed a bit by all the earnestness and the sobriety and the seriousness and the focus of doing. Now, what else we are going to be doing in way of impeccability is to shift this doing into the doing of being.
Yeah.
The doing of being. Please write that down for me. It's a big point, right? The doing of being. This is where we want to end up, where our being are doing.
Mm-hmm. To
We
me,
don't
that's
do physical
relaxing.
things. We just
That's
can be,
relaxing.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our being is our doing. Huge point. Huge point.
Yeah, I see that as relaxing. Just
And being at peace. Exactly.
being at peace. And it's the thing that I struggle with the most, of just stopping, because I can't stop doing. I have to start being and stop doing.
Right. But when you put the two together and say, oh, wait a second, my doing is being. That's what I need to do. I need to do being. Oh, it's a contradiction, but in the brain, in that side of the it now can give that doing part something to do. Oh, just to do, to just be. Oh, I get it now. And then it relaxes, and that's how we find peace. It's a very simple thing, but we have to deal with those inner bureaucrats, their craziness.
Yeah. Hercules, come here, Bubba. Come here to Mama. Come on.
Yes, let him come and meet Beena as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Beena. Here's my little boy. Hold on. Come here, Bubba. Say hi. Come here. Let me see. Right here. Let me see my boy. Want to say hi to Beena? Come here. Say hi to Sil. Come here. Let me see. He's my good boy.
Hello, Hercules. Hello, Hercules. Hello, dog. Hello, Hercules.
Here he is. Oh, here's my boy.
There you go.
Oh.
Hello, Hercules. Hello, dog. Hello.
He's a little guy. The name kind of makes him sound really big.
Yes. Brilliant. Hello, Hercules. Hello.
Little Scotty
He
dog.
didn't see me. He didn't see me on the screen.
Yeah.
Some dogs can recognize the screen and others can't. It's interesting.
Yeah. He saw you when we were with Bill, I think.
Yeah. But, I know Sil already. I've been hearing him talk to you. He's okay. So
he's a protect. He was so abused when he was a puppy.
Oh wow, interesting.
That he has what they call fear aggression, and so he has to sound like he's gonna bite your leg off, and he's gonna really technically he runs in the other direction. Because he was so bullied. Now he kind of has a little bully in him. But he will never attack. He will never attack. But these small little children, that the Amish family was watching were kicking him and hurting him, and they wanted to do it right in front of us. They wanted to kick the dog right. He was 4 pounds.
Wow.
He's in my hand. And they were trying, the little boy, 6 years old, says, I hate dogs. And he goes to push with his foot to kick this little puppy.
Wow.
And I scooped him up and I was sitting on the floor and I put him on my lap. Yeah, I'm talking about you,
good.
buddy.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
And I said to Bill, this dog is not staying here.
Yes. Oh, good.
So they would let these
good.
kids that they were babysitting for probably go feed them in the barn, and God only knows. But
Wow.
I had a spirit animal communicator come here because we had so many emotional problems with him. But he is my teacher too, and I get that, you know. And she said to me, Sue, she said, this is really dark. She said, there was a point where she said, I have to stop. She said, I can't go any further. Here, there were 3 puppies. And when we went to see them at 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it was, they only showed us 2. And they kept saying, oh, the other one is spoken for. And I just felt that wasn't true. Well, here she said that these dogs were so tortured, and his sibling canine brother, he said, my dog Hercules feels terrible because he couldn't help him. He couldn't save him. He was trying to, but he couldn't, and that puppy died. She said, I can't even go any further, she says, as to tell you as to what happened to him. She said, because it's too dark.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he's affected, you know, but again, it's integrating him and not giving him too much stimulus so that his cortisol levels stay at a low place. You know, it's all.
It's energy management.
Absolutely. It's exactly what it is. Exactly.
Also, awareness and attention management. What a magical gift from the universe to just represent and express what we're doing here now.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's, you know, paying attention to him for him, you know. He certainly cues us, you know, and it's us paying attention to that.
When we can name what we are doing, it elevates us and we get ownership and we get power from it. Right? You were doing all of this before, but right now you're able to name it more succinctly, more precisely, and this is very empowering.
Yeah.
Very empowering when we can name what we're doing.
Extremely powerful. I mean, in all the years that I've been doing therapy, you know what I mean? It just, it never came together so quickly here. And I said, we're just starting this program. You know?
Yes.
That's why I'm, and I just want to make sure that I don't have to wait, because I hopefully will be able to finish that that module today. If I wanted to go on to that 3rd module, I'm not going to have any problems getting in there. Good.
Oh no! I think you can probably go all the way to 6 now, because I set it to February 1, and it has a week queue. You know, so you're good for 6 weeks already now. So in 2 weeks' time, you can do all of them. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right.
The only reason I didn't go further back is because it has a year. The max that it goes is a year. So at February 1, then it only takes you to February 1 as opposed to March 10 or whatever it was, you see. So that's why I didn't go too far back. So
Okay.
Just to give you a little time, you know. Yeah.
So here, I'll continue on. It says, in every instance, more of everything is also less of everything.
Yes.
They actually go hand in hand.
Yes.
They cannot exist without each other.
Yes.
When you include more of something, less has to leave or be reduced, as it all does not fit in that same space at one time.
Wow. Yes.
Whether we're talking our mind, our body, whatever, it just doesn't fit. So there's only so much room in there.
Wow.
All I have to do is pay attention, and my awareness will automatically grow.
Oh. I know that is ridiculously obvious, but it is also ridiculously profound. Can you just please repeat that?
Mhm. All I have to do is pay attention, and my awareness will automatically grow.
Please copy paste that for me. I want to put that as a quote.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to finish the paragraph in case you want the rest of it. No, okay.
Sure. No, you're welcome to. You're welcome to. But that's just as a singular little quote.
Okay.
All I have to do is pay attention and my awareness will automatically grow.
Right.
Right there, that is so complete. It's so succinct. It's so encapsulating. Yes, the more is likely going to be a further exposition on that. But that there is the heart of everything that we're about.
Yep, absolutely. And that's why I said somehow that session cued my brain into a different place.
Yes. Yes.
It was not as much thinking as it was sensing and feeling.
Yes. Thank you. We want to get out of Sue's thinking brain because it overthinks and it doesn't connect to her feeling and being.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that's why, and then I could make all these understandings, these meaningful things to myself. Yeah. So this is, this helps to acquire motivation of my awareness, which is everywhere around us, every day, every minute, waiting to assist. Oh, it was a misspell there. Waiting to assist me. I just need to pay more attention.
Yes. I love Mrs. A when, or in my case, Mr. A when they pop up.
Yeah, every minute, yeah, okay. The more things make sense, the more I see that the good things and even the unpleasantries have had a purpose in my personal journey. I can see that even clearer now. There is always a lesson to be had from all experiences.
Oh, yes.
So again, you already talked about that in the previous modules, and then it kind of really like, okay, so here's the lesson. Here's the...
Yes. It's the kind of lesson. The lesson is always awareness.
Mm-hmm.
When we understand from that overview abstract point, we get out of this kind of looking at particular things, right? No, the lesson was awareness. Oh, now it all makes sense. That because the whole point of that is to make sense, right? Capital M, capital S makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Even the unpleasant occurrences in my life are a form of a harder lesson of learning awareness. Yeah. This does not always have to be hard.
Yes, Sue. Yes. It's only because we're nincompoops that we make it on.
Yeah. If I allow my prime motivator to be total awareness. This will help eliminate any tunnel vision, any short-sightedness, or judgment from showing up. I need to just take notice.
Yes. Give it a nice dramatic pause there, please. I just need to take notice of my own magic.
Yeah.
And the magic of my connectedness to the world. We live in a magical world.
Yeah. If we just allow ourselves to see it. Yeah. And that's what I said here. If I stop resisting the obvious forces of life, I will be better equipped to see them and allow them to be there for my highest good. The signals are constantly around me. I just need to stop turning them off and pay attention. Awareness equals self-awareness equals the magic of being. So I need to allow that every minute of every day. I can see more clearly now that the world surely does not work the way I thought it did. And also, I don't work the way I think I do either.
Yes, Sue. Yes. Yeah, read it again.
I can see more clearly that the world surely does not work the way I thought it did. And also, I don't work. I don't work
the way I think I did.
think I do either. I don't work the way that's right. The way I think I do either.
Yes.
That is a huge concept to digest, to wrap the old brain around. But clearly, there is so much more out there to learn and to become aware of.
Yes.
I am truly a tiny microcosm in this big old universe.
Yes. Yes. The acceptance of humility right there.
Yeah. Everything I allow myself to see through more awareness is absolutely a part of my enhancing myself to be more motivated by that awareness. If I don't see or learn the lesson the universe has shown me, it will keep relentlessly showing me until I get it.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to surrender and learn instead of fighting and suffering.
Yes.
Autopilot is not really as self-satisfying as you think, as you really are still missing the actual experience you are in. Be aware and let yourself be your own pilot and navigate the life you want.
Yes.
If I don't allow myself to be present in all the experience the universe presents me, good and bad, how will I ever learn to embrace all the experiences so that I can grow as an individual?
Yes. Being present.
When I don't show up, I can't participate.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and it's, really, you have to.
Yeah.
And how many times you think, when I was not really there, at some level. And so therefore my participation in that was not real. It's not real. Interesting how we don't allow our cars to run on one cylinder. So why should we let ourselves do that?
Yes.
So I put in all caps, engage all 4 cylinders always.
Whoa,
I don't
know. 12.
Is there 12 cylinders in a car?
Oh no, most cars are either 4 or fancy, a bigger car would have 6 cylinders. But you can get like a super sports car that 12 would be the like extreme maximum. So that's what I'm saying. 12,
like a race car or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or some crazy thing. But sometimes there's 8. But I don't know of any 12 that offhand. But anyway, we'll just say 12. I think it's possible. But anyway, yeah.
Even if I just say engage all cylinders always.
There you go.
Because we don't. We don't. We take more care of our cars. We don't check to see what our needs are, but we check the oil in the car. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
So I always try to jot down my feelings.
Feeling is important. Yes.
Excitement and being in the moment with myself and the words that I heard or read. So I was really,
I love that.
That session was, yeah. So there was a task. It says,
before you go to the task, sorry, was the mood also the excitement of connecting to the moreness and the sublimeness and the magic and the wonder of everything? Yeah. I mean, that's what the excitement was about, right? About magic.
That's what got me there. It got me into that space that I have felt before, usually in the therapy room for others. And there it is.
For you, it's for you, the excitement of the magical moreness of Sue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The task, especially make notes on how an expanse of your awareness affected you and how that feels. How am I motivated and by what?
Wow. Okay,
here we go.
Sometimes what those task questions are. So it's like, oh, that's for me. I'd forgotten that was. I love it when I knew.
I have always mainly been motivated by flattery and attention from others. I am incredibly self-motivated, but much of it is probably just to be noticed or appreciated or respected.
Wow.
As I expand my awareness of its source, I see that these things, attention, flattery, appreciation, unconditional love or respect, is something that I never got in any great amount from my parents. My mother in particular did not have a lot of self-value. So I see, how could she have possibly teach me, show me, or give me these things that she did not have herself? It's not possible.
Yes. Yes.
She did the best she could with the skill set she was given.
Yes.
I am sure from a very young age, this caused me to overachieve at every level and set self-imposed deadlines and achieve many next to impossible tasks alone while never asking for help. I just wanted to be noticed and appreciated for what I did or accomplished. I wanted to be accepted. So therefore, the more someone praised me as I got older, the more I performed. The task.
To pause you there. Sorry, Sue. That word performed, underline it. I'm assuming
Yes.
but it emphasized. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I performed. The tasks became very obligatory until I started to expand my awareness to the fact that I had a choice and that the playing field was very uneven. More benefit to them, less satisfaction for me, until I got more praise, and then the cycle repeated itself again. What a horrible ride to be on. I never stopped to pay attention to what was happening. Whoops, I lost my thing. So it just perpetuated. It still creeps in, so I need more work in this arena. The main feeling that comes up is sadness. The sadness is from not being able to appreciate, love, and respect myself and thinking that I had to get it from an outside source.
Yes.
The lesson appears to be that I have all I need. I just need to connect to it, embrace it, and live it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I am motivated to do things just to be liked or loved. If I did everything and anything so well in large quantities, how could someone not love me or at least like me?
Wow.
What an amazing, talented woman. I see through an expanded mind that all the forces of life were all there, but I chose at the time to ignore them. So the universe kept giving me these hard lessons of awareness.
Yes.
I chose not to see the signals.
Yeah.
There was no power pausing, just doing.
Yeah.
No real intent, just fueled by the almighty fear
Yes.
of not being accepted or liked.
Yes. Yes.
It started to exhaust me
Yes.
when I started paying attention to the forces of life that were showing me the truths. But I only stopped to take a few bites of them, and then I still pushed onward. I feel embarrassed and ashamed to admit my old means of motivation. This shame is someone else's burden that I have been carrying my whole life.
Yes. 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 Wow. 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 Wow.
I believe it's my mother's. I believe it's my mother's burden. It
And
is
her
time,
mothers and her mothers.
and her mothers.
Cycle. You're
Yes,
breaking the cycle.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because I can go back 2 generations for sure.
You break the cycle now.
Yeah. It is time to drop their luggage and pick up my own, no matter what's inside of it.
Oh, yes.
I need to get back what is not mine. I need to give back what is not mine and take responsibility for what is mine.
Wow.
It is interesting when I think more deeply that when I chose to do things on my own, I am fearless, but the minute it directly involves others, I fear I will hurt them or not please them if they don't agree. So in other words, if I'm on my own, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, the universe just agreed there. Look at that. Bring. Yes. If I'm on my own, I'm good. Independence of being is to really own that, not in the way you were, but to transform it into power. To say, my independence of being is my power.
Yeah. Independence of being. Yeah.
Independence of being in your dictionary of power. Yes. A huge deal. A huge deal. Claim your
Is my
independence of
power.
being. To claim it, to own it, to realize this is what we're all about, to get to a state of being where we can fully claim and own that independence of being, where I'm not dependent on anybody's idea, opinion, thoughts, nothing. No, I have the competency and abilities to own it myself and to
That is Bill with all capital letters.
Yes,
it is.
exactly.
That is my husband.
Yes.
You know, if I think I'm gonna, if it involves somebody else and I think that somebody's feelings might be hurt or I'm not gonna please them,
Yes.
or they're gonna disagree, then I start questioning myself. I struggle with confrontation. Yes. I want peace, and I have always sacrificed me for the sake of peace.
Yes.
This origin is my parents. My father was a decision maker. My mom had no voice in anything.
Wow.
My mom never wanted my father to get angry, so peace was always made at any expense. The lesson from her was don't argue, you shut up. Be passive and quiet. Perhaps I was really not fearless in my personal decisions. Perhaps I was just a coward trying to avoid others. So I just did what I wanted to. Then I learned some things must involve others, and for that is what I still struggle with. I believe that needs to be readjusted, and a better and newer habit needs to be formed.
Oh, that's the key point. There's awareness now of what was, what happened in the past, what's needed now. But the key is to understand that it also involves shifting habits. Because habits have this power of bringing stuff back that even though we're aware they're inappropriate, it keeps bringing back appropriateness simply because of habit. So this is very powerful to know where we want to shift our habits. Very powerful. Very powerful.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a huge point. What a huge point.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah, that was a biggie. Wow. That was I said that was such a connective module and session for me. Yes. It allowed me again to go into that other space that I actually love being.
Yes.
Because it's really, I'm thinking, but it's not my brain. I think it's more heart centered.
Yes. You have a big, big heart, a huge, massive, great big heart. Yes. All of you is heart, really.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. One quick little word to add to your original list, the love-worthy list, goofiness. Yeah, see how it gets us? Yes.
Oh, wait, let me put this.
We love that side of Sue. We really do,
Yeah, and it's funny. I think it's funny. Hold on a minute. Goofiness. My mother used to say, "Stop being so goofy, Susan." Yeah. I mean,
wow.
now,
I really, all through what you were saying, you know, the last, it's very earnest and very sincere and very powerful. It's really magical what you're saying. But that word goofiness kept coming up in me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to forget to say it to add to your list, you know. So that's what I was feeling because you were talking about your mother. So it's interesting, you know, that she kept saying that to you. Very fascinating. Very fascinating.
Yeah. And it's funny because when Bill is goofy, I get a little funny. And now I see why. Because she always would shut that down on me. You know what I mean?
You got to now practice being goofy, which is why I was recommending that improv comedy.
Yeah.
That is precisely about actually deliberately practicing to be goofy.
Yeah.
Deliberate goofiness. Very powerful.
I'll do it with her. I'll do it in front of Hercules, and then I won't.
Oh, what a brilliant thing! Thank you, Hercules. Thank you. Yes.
Because otherwise, I'll feel too. What's the word? Self-conscious.
Yes,
I can go in front. I can play piano in front of an audience. I can speak. But something like that involves some kind of I don't know.
Imagine when you're going to feel comfortable being goofy in front of anybody, independent of being.
Yeah.
That is how you're going to know, oh, I'm starting to acquire independence of being.
Okay.
That for you, that is a profound, you know, measuring stick, a mechanism.
Okay, when I allow this.
Yes. When you enable it. So practicing with Hercules is huge. Then from Hercules, you extend it to Bill. You know, you do it with maybe Bill is in another room or something, and then gradually Bill comes closer. Then you do it with Bill, and then you start doing it with your friends, and you start expanding it. And Bill loves your goofiness.
Yeah.
Bill loves your goofiness. There's no doubt about it. He loves it. You have such a magical goofiness because your goofiness has awareness to it. It has just a moreness to it. It has a connectedness to it. Your goofiness is just magical power. It's fantastic.
Okay, I'll let the goofy come out.
Yes. I love it.
I'll let Goofy show up appropriately. Yeah.
Beena, please share, Beena. Please share.
I just love that, and especially your power term. It's goofiness is amazing. So I have a question, and I need your elucidation on that. You mentioned that this is how like the world does not work the way we think it works. So my question is how your world. In a module you did your takeaway today, it is mentioned that the world doesn't work the way we assume it works. But my question is how your world works now.
I would say
Wow.
that's a great question, very deep. It easily to say it's from a different vantage point. I've shifted from where I was, I guess, perceiving things or believing things or whatever to a different place, coming from a different place. I think it's coming from me. The vantage point is a deeper place in me instead of an external, like again, educated thinking mind versus a feeling mind. Yeah.
It's coming from your spirit.
My spirit. Okay.
That's where you're coming from
That's
now,
where it sums
right?
it up. Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
I can feel it in a different place now. Yeah.
Yes, but I'm asking, I'm not saying, I'm asking, you know, is that if I were to encapsulate, you know, I'm just doing a recap encapsulation, you know, to make the obvious. What you said to me sounds like you're coming from your spirit now. The spirit of Su, which is your moreness, your energy, your deepness, your feelingness, right? That moreness is your spirit, right?
Yeah. So that is the new vantage point. Yes, is spirit. Yeah. Because I think it was more intellectual, more brain, more mind, you know.
It lacked spirit, lacked heart.
Yeah. And the spirit kind of combines my heart and the intellect.
Correct. Exactly. And your moreness.
Yeah.
And your magic, your ineffableness. Right. And your goofiness. It does.
That was a great question, Beena. That was you're always the thinker there, that deep thinker there.
Yes. It's huge. That's huge. That's huge.
Okay, and one more thing,
Timing is
if
just
we have time.
No, we're fine on timing. Sure hasn't arrived yet, so we're good. We're good with the extra time, no problem.
Okay. One more thing. You mentioned, Sue, that it's all okay, that what you are now satisfied with what you have, and you are dependent on what you have. Does your awareness, your peace of being, your inner peace depends on also what you don't have right now? Are you at peace with that too?
I think I'm at peace with the fact of not knowing what I don't have, but the peace that something is going to come. I don't know what it is, and I'm just going to allow it to come and show me.
Yes.
Instead of like, I'm always searching. It's like the person that's reaching for that brass ring all the time, you know, and never just allowing something to play out organically. I'm not saying my whole life has never been organic. I'm not saying that at all. But I think this is helping me to recognize the fact that, you know, this is what I have, this is where I've been, this is where I am, but there's so much more to come. And I don't have to focus or strive at some crazy level for something that I really have no control over.
Yes. In other words, capital T, trust.
Trust. There you go.
Trust. Right?
Yeah.
And there are, trust comes in really huge. There's sessions on this capital T trust. But that piece is starting to connect to the capital T trust. And when you really start to bring that fully and what it is, it's going to add to this piece. So it's a very profound question that Beena's asking.
Yeah, very, 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 very good question.
Your piece of being, because you mentioned piece of being very important, has shifted because you are now trusting that what you want, the moreness, what you need, what you don't have, will come.
Yes.
Out there. And you don't have to have it now. You can have peace without having that.
Yeah. And that's going to come from my, how did you word that there? Hold on. Let me get that page. The doing of being.
Yes.
The more I
be,
the more that will happen. You know, it's really how focusing every day on something like that. I mean, I don't know.
Yes. What a way to close the circle of this point.
Yeah.
It's going to come from my doing of being. Yes. My doing beingness. Yes. When beingness becomes our doing, then we have this balance, we have this peace. It's incredible. Very incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sue. I asked this question because I'm just not struggling now, but yes, I'm dealing with this asking for help from outside and not try to be independent in every situation and not try to be wholesome, absolute answer for myself. So I'm just reaching out for help. So I'm making posts about it, and I am actually dealing with that. It was a huge deal for me. But when you mentioned that your self-motivation was always was coming from admiration and appreciation and compliments from others, and it motivates you to do more and more good and more better. So, and now you are unhooking yourself from that. It is a huge deal for me too. So that's
it's very freeing. It's very freeing because they feel like chains. It feels like, you know, all these years that I've helped people because I've shown them, like you, Beena, who can accomplish anything. And my family, my friends say, Sue, there isn't anything you can't do. I could build a house if I wanted to. I can paint somebody. I can do anything I want.
Wow.
But, what was my point? Hold on, I just lost my point here. So I created, this is what it was. I created this false sense of me that boy, that Sue, she can do anything. That Beena, she doesn't need any help. So I created that person who people looked at and said, I'm going to ask her for help because she knows everything. She doesn't ever need help. When the real picture was, I desperately was struggling and wanted help, but didn't know how to ask for it,
Yes.
and was embarrassed to ask for it, or
Yes.
however you
Oh
want
my
to do
God.
that.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes. In other words, to encapsulate for both of you, you were unable to acknowledge vulnerability.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Amen. There
And
it
when
is.
we understand that acknowledging vulnerability is actually something that enhances us, not diminishes us, it
Right.
adds to us, that's when we get to our independence of being. Independence of
Wow.
being includes being able to acknowledge vulnerability, includes being able to ask for help. When we have this power to ask for help, we acquire independence of being.
Yeah. And coming out of this Western mind that says vulnerability equals weakness.
It does not. It's a
And
strength.
it's not. It's the complete opposite. And that's
Exactly.
when I really got that my vulnerability, my rawness, my realness was actually more attractable. You
Put it on
know,
your list, please.
huh? What?
Add it to your list.
What? My
Yes.
vulnerability.
Yes, on your list of love worthiness, you don't have vulnerability on there, or at least openness to vulnerability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. And that's true, you know, but I see now that I have created, or I saw that I created that cycle to not let people, like, all I was doing for others, helping others, expanding
Right.
the women of the world, and supporting this one, supporting that one, and at the sacrifice of self, until I said, what the hell is going on here? You know, why? Because the only thing that can creep in then on my end is resentment and anger, you know, but then you put that happy face on and you just keep on.
Yes.
Because I'm learning to take out the big O, the word obligation.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I cannot have that in my vocabulary.
Right. Now look, when you drop obligation, look how independence of being suddenly
everything
starts.
opens up. Everything opens up.
Yes, yes, yes. You know what my number one rule for relationships is? No expectations and no obligations.
You can't. You can't.
That's it. When you throw those out, boom,
Yeah.
boom, you acquire independence of being. What makes us lovable and able to love is when we can love from a point of independence of being. It's not contractual. Love cannot be a contract.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Cannot
can't.
be.
It can't. But and until we become vulnerable, Beena, it can't change. It can't change. You will put those high expectations on there, and you will put all those parameters and things. You have to be real. You know, once even with family, and that was the hardest thing to do, was from that obligatory or good friends or people that you've always done things for. Like, just a real side note, still look at this. A situation came up again with Donna. She has a small, about 8-9-year-old granddaughter who I designed jewelry, and I brought her over here maybe 6-7 months ago with Donna for the day, and I taught her how to make some jewelry, some simple things, and she loved it. They were here for 3-4 hours, and they absolutely had a ball. So it came up from this little girl's mother that each child, for their Christmas present, was to spend time to do something that they could spend time with their grandparent with. Well, this little girl said, I want to go to Sue's again with Donna, and make jewelry.
Excellent.
Okay.
Wow.
So the mother writes me this private message and says, whatever you charge, whatever you need, maybe you could have a little make a little kit or a craft up or an idea for the day. Whatever it is, just let me know. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I've given many, many things away in my life. I am way too generous sometimes, but this woman was insistent on paying me. So I said, listen, I'm going to give you a break. Here's my fee. And I'll include all the parts and all the things that we need. She doesn't need to bring anything. Here's my fee.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. For the first time, I didn't fall, I did it for free before, but she's asking to pay me. So I'm like, okay, here's what it is. Yes. Well, she goes back to Donna and says, she says, Sue wants me to pay her.
Wow.
And Donna got upset. She said, I don't understand. She said, what's going on with Sue? She said, she did it for free before. So I was at Donna's when she was recouping from her surgery. And I said, whoa, Donna, I need you to back up for a second. I have the email or the text messaging exactly how your daughter-in-law proposed this to me. So I gave her a price, a very low and fair price for what I was doing for her for 3-4 hours. I said, but I thought, well, at least I'll get paid something. Well, they were offended that my initial reaction, and this is a me that I want to get rid of. Okay. And that is the fact that I immediately thought, and they were talking about all this on Christmas Day about me without me being there. Because when Donna got her gift, it was to go to the movies with this little girl, not to do jewelry. And I never knew anything. I thought maybe she changed her mind, and I never heard back from her. And then Donna tells me the story that the daughter-in-law said, oh my God, that's too much money, blah, 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 blah. And so my initial reaction was to quickly fix it, because I felt terrible that somebody was saying things about me in a place that I couldn't stand up for myself. So I said, oh my God, I said, just tell her if it's a money issue, I'll just do it for nothing.
Oh yeah.
Well, I came home and told Bill the story, my husband, and he said, are you out of your mind? He said, I'd have told her to stick that where the sun don't shine. He said, what, you don't want to pay for my services? Then you don't get them. Yeah. Then you don't get them,
But you were balancing
very fair.
Yeah.
Being very fair with it. Yeah. But my point is just these are those things that keep creeping in that I want to get rid of. And it's because I'm afraid someone is going to like me, or I'm afraid that they're going to say something bad about me. I really need to feel like, I love Wayne Dyer's quote. He says, what people think about me is none of my business. I really need to really own that in the biggest way possible.
Yes, this is independence of being.
Independence of being.
What you are talking about. This is it. This is independence of being. When we have independence of being, other people's opinions of us, they just don't exist.
They don't exist.
Part of us.
They don't exist. But I take responsibility for what I created all those years, Beena, like we were talking about, why I was so tired and why I was so exhausted. I'm always helping this person. I can't get this done for myself. I can't go through therapy for myself because I'm too busy helping other people. Until I realized that I was the root cause of it, nothing was going to change. Nothing. Nothing could change.
Wow. I was discussing with Sil before that I feel that same warmth and same energy from you, what I feel resonate with. And it is like, sometimes I feel that, oh, she is in that mood. And with that openness, you acknowledge everything. But what you discuss right now, like asking for help and feeling vulnerable, this is what we were doing. I was posting about that because it was a huge deal for me, and I put myself in a place where I can actually feel vulnerable, deliberately making
Yeah.
myself vulnerable. Uh,
It's,
but what you shared right now, this is something, it seems like, it feels like for me that that universe actually put you in my path, in my awareness, because this is something I need to learn
Yeah.
yeah.
also, because
Yes.
this is what I am doing. Okay, I am doing because I feel good, and this is but no, not in depth, in real core. I need to address this. I need to get
Yeah.
this thing
Oh,
right.
Beena, honey, get it off your plate now. I mean, it. You clearly are talking about it, so you hopefully are choosing to take some action about it. I kept
Yes.
dismissing it and just doing more. I was on that wheel, that hamster wheel, and just kept, it was, everything was perpetuated. The minute somebody flattered me or said something nice, I'm like, oh, it was like somebody just gave me a whole full tank of gas, and there I would go and go and go and go, you know. And it's just, it's not fair. It's not
A
fair to
habit
me.
momentum wheel. A
Yeah.
reinforcing habit momentum wheel. They are dreadful, those. And we
Oh,
break them.
oh,
They are really dreadful. Yes, Beena is actively doing something very sophisticated, something too. She's making posts. She'll share them in the group at some point. But
cool.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Very, very magical.
And that's all fine and well to be involved. And that's what I see now that I didn't see before, Beena, was that you don't need to flip the switch and say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be involved. I just want to be here for myself and nothing else. It's having that balance. It's having those boundaries, those healthier boundaries in the big picture that can be good on both sides. Your tank needs to be refilled.
Yes.
Because you just keep letting it run down very, very low, very, very low. Yeah.
Yes.
Incredibleness.
Yes.
What
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
incredibleness.
Oh, you're welcome, Beena. Yeah.
Sue.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask you. We're happy to keep going if you've got the time.
Yeah, I got a little more time. Yeah. Until
then
then.
we go. Right. I just wanted to say, because I am cognizant of the time, and I do try and be respectful of your time too. So if there was something from an overview recap that you wanted to share, just to wrap it all together, because it's very useful when we do that. Because there's so much that comes up, and then we just we have something that really sits with us and stays with us.
Yeah, I think that biggest thing is about, if we allow ourselves to be honest and vulnerable and raw, okay, then the clarity enters.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's nothing but chaos and confusion in there, and it's drama. It's nothing but drama. And that's what I try to separate out now is this real, or is this drama that I don't need to be a part of? What part of this connects to me? What part of this do I need to take responsibility for? The rest of it I need to give back to this person or this project that I'm working on or whatever. If we don't stay clear, and and again, through this kind of work, through meditation, I think is very, very helpful to keep us grounded.
Yes. And to get us to a point of overview perspective.
Yeah.
Is what you are doing. This overview perspective is giving you this clarity. And when we have that clarity of our intent, it really says, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm in process of applying. Now we know where we're at, and everything gets to be clear.
Right. And in that process is that big H word, that honesty, that truth, admitting, out loud that for 21 years I was in a lousy relationship, and in my head pretended that I was being loved, and it was the last thing that I was receiving in that relationship.
Yeah.
But until you sit back and have enough, and Beena, I think you have to hear this one loudly, is the fact of you have to care enough about yourself to start paying attention.
All right. So put that in the first person.
Huh?
Put it in the first, but what you just said to Beena, put it in first person.
Okay.
I
care about myself enough to take a look at the bigger picture and make changes for my.
Sorry, my connection dropped. Please repeat this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
How did I say it?
Just repeat the essence of it.
Yeah. I choose to be vulnerable and raw and honest with myself in every situation.
Yes.
Otherwise, the clarity can't come in.
Yes.
And drama enters. There's the more clarity, less drama.
Yes.
More drama, less clarity.
Yes.
Type of a picture there.
The key, the point that stimulated this was you said that it was about when I chose to care enough about myself.
Okay, there you go.
That was your point you were trying to communicate, yes? If I'm understanding correctly. Okay.
You're right. I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was that point again?
So I choose to care about me.
Yes, to care enough about me.
Yeah, to care enough about me to make that change.
Yes.
I matter.
Yes.
Before, everybody else mattered.
Yes.
That was my conditioning.
Yes.
My mother used to say, Susan, someone's worse off than you are. Stop that. Forget about it. No, I matter.
You don't matter. That's the point that she's saying. No, you do matter.
I do matter. Absolutely.
When I put those quotes from you into the program, the couple that I said there, I'm going to attribute them to Sue Matters. One word.
Good. Sue Matters. Absolutely. And I do. And I do. Absolutely. Yeah. But it took time, Beena, to, is it shame on me? Not really.
No.
Like I said to Sil before, I finally understand that what I did, the hard lessons I had to learn through relationships and so forth, were all for a very, very good reason. For me to get to where I am now, for me to articulate it, is only because I stopped doing and starting being, trying to be me and not who else somebody else wanted me to be.
Yes.
And that opened up the doors. It really did.
Yes. Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And look, I just opened another door.
Yeah.
We shifted. When Beena started sharing her things, you shifted into teacher mode, into telling mode, and you started telling stuff to Beena. Then when I asked you to say it in the first person, it changed, right? Yeah. And it enabled you. Now, it did two things. It not only changed it for you to connect the power of what you were saying, because it's really for yourself, but also made it actually more accessible for Beena.
Yeah.
So when we realize that sharing is actually more communicative, it is, we can share and transfer something. In other words, it's more educational to share than to tell.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely
incredible.
is.
And it's just a habit we have to get.
We talked about today was sharing, not telling.
Yes.
To share a story
was a demonstration, right?
Right, because people can connect on that level.
Yes.
I was hoping to be perfect. I've realized that is not something I even want to strive to be. I don't.
Yes. In other words, what I'm saying, Sue, when you share as you have been, this entire session is you sharing, Sue. When you share yourself, you are incredibly educational and communicate. And you educate us when you share about yourself. Not when you tell us, but when you share yourself. Then we get educated. It is a cockeyed, it's a kind of a peculiar, kind of a reverse logic, right? It's a little strange. But when we really think, it's not how we were brought up and what we were conditioned to be, but when we realize this power of sharing, it is profound.
Yeah,
so here's something that I would say too. Beena was part of that Women's Empowerment Conference, right? I could take this session that we did now and everything you said, if you just kind of tweak it a little bit as a sharing of, this was my experience of something I shared, and you make a seminar, a talk out of it, just connect it all, right, in this, and you share exactly everything you shared with me, the same words, but just flow it together. This is a powerful seminar of women's empowerment. It's
absolutely.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Just like, wow, wow, wow. And all you have to do is just share. You would be sharing your awareness, the sophistication of your awareness, the depth of you, the magic of you, sharing your goofiness, your vulnerability, your joyfulness, your pleasure, all of this stuff. Man alive, how profound. And also educational, because we get to look inside somebody, and this is part of your magic. We get to see all of you, the fullness of you, not just the cockeyedness of you and the weirdness of you. No, the fullness of you. We see your magic through the sharing. We see this profound, sophisticated awareness that is there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you share your moreness, when you share in that full honesty, we get to see your sophistication, this depth that is Sue. We see your caring, your compassion, your joy, your honesty, your magic, all of this. It's very powerful.
As I grow and expand and have my moreness, more honesty is there. Yeah. Where, 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, don't matter. I would have left out parts, the bad parts, so that people didn't see all of it, that they just saw the good stuff.
Yes.
Like I said to people on my table, the more attractable human being is the one who is vulnerable and in raw and honest. That's who you can connect to. Beena, that's why you can connect to me, because I'm telling my truth, even though some of it's not pretty or it's
right. Sue unedited. I'm going to change that quote. That's who I'm going to attribute it to.
Okay.
Sue unedited. That's what we are hearing. Sue unedited.
Yeah, edited.
This is really magical.
There you go. I like that.
Sue unedited. One word. Sue unedited. It's unbelievably potent, and it is so profound, and it's so valuable to us. And this is what Beena's enjoying, and what she's commented on. And every time she says, "Thank you, Sue," she's saying, "Thank you for hearing Sue unedited."
Yeah. It's the raw. I'm finally at that place where, again, thank you for being there. The both of us.
You have nothing to apologize for.
To hear, right? I don't.
You have nothing to apologize for. That's when we get independence of being, to say, I have nothing to apologize for. I don't need to justify or validate myself. I have nothing. No, that's it. I accept myself as I am. This is independence of being. I also accept the fact that I have to learn more and grow more. But I'm enough, and I am also more. This is how we get our independence of being, to balance those two together.
I'm going to make maybe I'll paint a sign that says, no apologies required.
Yes.
Like no shirt required, or no shoes required.
Yes.
No apologies required.
I absolutely recommend you do this.
Yeah.
I tell some people, put up sticky notes all over the house, but in your case, your house, the sticky note is going to be discordant. I would make a little plaque and paint it on there, and to fit into your decor. You can come and change it and paint over it, but, paint it in some nice calligraphy or something, maybe, No, but because your house is really beautiful, so sticky notes are going to throw that out there. But you can make it, part of your decor. No apologies required.
No apologies required.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, because you think about how many times you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or "I didn't mean that," or "I apologize."
No.
Really?
What do you want to apologize for? When we accept, that's why we start the way of impeccability. with you proving to yourself that you are good. Once you know you're good, what apologies are required? You cannot possibly do things deliberately bad. Inadvertently, yes, maybe. But okay, then we apologize for our inadvertency, but we never deliberately bad. So what is there to apologize for? My intent is good. When we accept this profound, deep intent to goodness, no apologies.
Yeah. And bravo, Sil, to say that this is where you start your program. You know, again, the strength, the validation of starting there, not running 8 weeks into a program and then the last module is
to the more.
It's is you and you being more.
Yes. We're going into the more of you, and we don't know what that more is. This is a magical adventure of moreness. This is it. But we need to start from that point of accepting and owning our goodness. Otherwise, we'll never get to the more.
Yeah, because when we accept that more, there can't be any room for that doubt, that questioning.
Exactly.
All that.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
The program is set up beautifully. That's why I said, you know, hallelujah. It fell into place. It fell into place, that last module.
Yes. Oh, I'm just so enjoying you, Sue. Can't tell you, you know, how much it's powerful for us to hear your moreness, your sophistication, your insights, and your joyfulness, and the excitement, and that openness. That's what Beena was shouting when she first said, when I asked that question. You know, she said, your openness, Sue, your openness, Sue, your uneditedness, in other words. This is what she was shouting.
Yeah. Sue unedited. I like that.
Sue unedited.
Unedited.
Yeah. You know,
That,
if you like, we're to have
that power to me. That's power.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because I was looking for that encapsulation. That, you know, I always look and I say, there it is. Sue unedited. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah.
And that's where you bring your honest self, and that's when people hear or see, and they can take away from that. Yes.
And Sue unedited is a new habit of being, a new beingness, a new doing that you can practice as a beingness. That's all I need to do is be unedited. Oh, wow. It's like the wows don't stop when your brain says, oh my goodness, that's all I need to do is be Sue unedited. Whoa, now all my magic will show, all my potency, all my power, all my lovableness, everything will come out when I'm Sue unedited. That's when I can be goofy, when I can be vulnerable, when I can be naughty, when I can be everything. I can be sophisticated. I can be insightful. I can be Sue unedited.
Yeah. Sue unedited does not allow me to think and plan and control.
Control.
Yes, exactly. It allows you to be real. And this is what we are looking to be. It says in the beginning of the program somewhere, we are looking to be our real selves, and real as capital R or all caps L. Sue unedited is real Sue. You know, like they say on the street, let's get real. Sue unedited is being real. When you're unedited, you're being real all the time. And when we see real Sue, oh my God, what a brilliant thing. Oh, it's just too fantastic. Yes? When we see all of Sue, it's very important. When we only see this edited version of Sue, no, sorry.
It doesn't have the meat in it.
Right. It's stilted, it's stiff. Right? Without your goofiness and your vulnerability and your naughtiness and that playfulness and your childlikeness, that edited Sue's a bit stiff. Yeah? Or I don't know, stiff is one word that comes to mind. You know, it's just a bit static as well, you know. But stiff is the appropriate word, you know. So they don't want to be a stiff, right?
No.
Look at that face. I love it.
When you're dead.
Yes, exactly. Look how that, now for some people, that is appropriate. That is their core predilection, but it's not yours. You have this wildness in you, Sue. You know, with this exuberance, which is, no, stiffness doesn't work for Sue. Even though you package yourself into that, but it doesn't work for you. It's not real Sue. No. but yes, you can be if need be, but you have this full range of the entire spectrum. You know, it's like if you were to go to acting school and they want to put you and pigeonhole you and, okay, you're good at playing this role. You say, oh, no. I want to play all the different characters. Yeah, I don't want to just play one and this way. No, don't pigeonhole me, please. You know, I'm a character
Don't
actor.
pigeonhole me. Yeah.
Don't pigeonhole me. I'm a character actor. I can be everything. I can be anything, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well,
love it.
I'm
I
going to
love
finish
it.
my lunch, and I haven't start my day with appointments. So, thank you.
Oh,
both of
absolutely.
Thank you.
And,
Yes. Oh,
um,
magic. Just magic.
just so I'm clear, Wednesday is I'm going to listen in mostly with Erica's on at
I
9.
no, not at the end of it when we overlap. We're still going to have the 2 hours, but you'll overlap with Erica. Like you were Sue's, Cher was going to overlap with you, and then we were going to, just have a little bit of overlap time. But no, we'll still have the 2 hours, but also a bit of overlap with Erica. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I still come on at 9 o'clock on.
Correct.
my
Correct.
time.
Oh, yes.
Correct.
Perfect.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just like it when there's a bit of overlap. Cher's just feeling under the weather a bit, so she's a bit later, and but yeah, but yeah, I love when there's overlap, when you get to meet each other and share a bit. And okay, Sue comes on, like when if she would have come at that time, she would have caught your recap, you see, and that would have been really powerful, and then okay, so and then okay, you say, and then we start with her, and then some other time maybe you'll be scheduled after her, and then so it's very nice to do that. And then we will set up some schedules where we come, and you can just join anytime, you can just stay when other people are on too. But I will set up somewhere we have group where all of us are together. I will do that. But right now you're so focused and immersed that it's just more appropriate to stick with this power that of you coming out. It's so fantastic and it's so magical. It's so cute.
Yeah, and that's what I feel, and that's why I'm so driven.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yesterday morning with those glitches that we had with me not being able to get on,
Right.
I only had a certain window of time yesterday in the morning to do it.
Right.
And then I lost it, and all day I was like, oh, it'll work. I said, I made sure at the end of the day, I said to Bill, everyone's gone. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going upstairs to do my workshop. I said, and I said I wanted to start that other module that,
And Beena, I got to meet Bill. He came and he sat in the chair and we chatted and interacted a bit. I can't tell you how happy I am and just how magical it is that Bill and Sue are together. That Sue is in Bill's life and Bill is in Sue's life. It just gives me great joy. It was really something special. I'm really happy for you, Sue.
I want him to get him. I want to get him out to Sedona because I know he'll love it out there.
Oh, good.
So
Good. Okay, well, yes, that would be really special. Yes, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Okay, guys, you have a great day.
You too.
Hugs and kisses.
See you next time. Yes.
We'll talk on Wednesday. Will you be there Wednesday, Beena?
Yes.
Of course, I'll be here.
Good. All righty. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
All right. And
Bye.
end meeting. My mouse here. Come on. I will come.